She's dead. Susan Wojcicki is fucking dead. She died of cancer. She was in like her 50s, I want to say. And I don't care. I will make fun of the dead. I don't give a fuck if she's dead. I'm glad she's dead. She contributed nothing. She was worth nothing. She was a net deficit to all of humanity. Nobody will miss her, except maybe her family. Though that's just a given, I suppose. It's not really known. Maybe they hate her. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, what am I supposed to feel? Oh, this technocrat who's sold out everybody on the fucking planet for some unknown DEI initiative is fucking dead. Oh, boo-hoo. In fact, I was so concerned that there may not be a single good thing you could possibly say about her. So I went to Google and I typed in, I just said, is there a single fucking thing that Susan Wojcicki did that was worth a shit? And sure enough, I found a Washington Post article by somebody... by Adam Lashinsky, or Lashinsky. A big surprise there with the naming nomenclature. And his entire thing is basically that she was employee number 16 at Google. She got hired in the 1990s. She stayed with the company throughout her entire life. She had 5 kids. And that's worth mentioning because of something that is really, really funny to me. And basically what he says is that she kept her employees' mental health in mind. Always made sure to give more benefits. Yeah, I'm sure. When you have a group of people under your control that you're like compensating to do bad things at the detriment of all of society, yeah, you got to pay them real fucking good to keep compromising their values. Yeah, sure, you know that what you're doing is objectively evil and that you're a terrible person for doing it, but free dental, free healthcare. We contribute 25% to your IRA every year. And well, now that you put it that way, sure, I will implement a machine learning algorithm that makes every single person less free. I will ban comments without notifying you, so you're just gaslit into thinking that your perspective is unpopular and nobody likes what you have to say. Yeah, sure, whatever. Just make sure I got a fucking cavity, and I need to make sure that shit's, and it costs $50,000 to get dental surgery, so you better make sure that shit's paid. Wojcicki got you covered. Oh, good. I'm glad she's dead. Fuck her. What I want to say in regards to her kids, though, is this. This is intro paragraph making me laugh out loud. I'll read it, and then make sure you do a double take when I'm done. In 2015, the year after she became CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki and I talked on stage at a business conference in Aspen, Colorado. She told me beforehand that she could track her career at Google with the birth of each of her 5 children, and seemed that every time she became pregnant, she explained she found herself in a new role at the company. So just coincidentally, every time she found herself pregnant, she also got promoted. That seems to be a little bit of a tell there as to what she was doing at the company that was such added value to the management that she just kept going up and up and up. She's like, I don't know. In my head now, Susan Wojcicki is just like a breeding stock for goblins. I'm sure all of her kids have like an innate 15% racial spec bonus to Sheckelmeistering. They've just bred like the next generation of goblin CEOs out of this fucking demon whore. Oh, too bad she couldn't have another 5 before she died. What a shame. We really need more. Fuck her. That's it. That's all I have to say about her. It's an opinion piece, yeah. It's by this fucking asshole. God willing, we won't have to deal with him much longer either. Let's rinse this down with some some culture. This guy posted this TikTok in my thread, and it made me laugh, so I'm gonna share it with all of you.
What you mean you pregnant again, bro? I'm not doing this shit again, bro. You just graduated 8th grade. Come on, man. Get your shit together, bro. I'm finna send you with your mom. I'm not dealing with this shit, bro. You gotta get out of my house.
I don't care.
You gotta get out of my house, bro.
I'll go with my mom.
You gotta get out of my house, bro.
I'm gonna go with my mom.
The first time you got pregnant, I was cool with that. I don't really trip. I'm like, no, I'm fucking make mistakes. But you pregnant again? You got here doing this shit on purpose, bro.
I'm not
doing this shit on purpose, bro.
I'm not doing it.
You doing for all this shit, bro.
I'm not
Get your
doing
own
it
shit first. Get your own shit first.
What you mean get my
your own shit first. Then you can think about having all these kids. But right now, you're doing too much, bro.
I'm only in 8th grade. How am I gonna get my own shit?
You are tweaking, bro.
How am I gonna get my own shit?
Answer the phone for your mama.
No.
Answer the phone for your mama. She said, man, you got to get up out of here, bro. I'm not raising those. Bro, I'm not doing it, bro. I'm not doing it. I'm not, bro. I'm not, bro. I'm tired of this shit, bro. Leave right now, bro.
No.
Finish putting all this shit in the bag and get the fuck out right now, bro.
No. I'm gonna leave when I'm ready to leave.
I ain't doing it, bro. I'm not doing it. Your mama on her way, bro. I don't know where you going, but you gotta get the hell out of here.
She don't even want me to live with her either.
Bro,
so why you
that's on you and your mama, but I know what I'm doing. I'm not doing this.
So you're not gonna take care of your grandson?
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I got him, but you went and had another baby.
No, that's not the dad. That's her dad, and they're separated. That's why the mom lives separate from him. They're split apart. He's still around, I guess, and he was going to raise the grandchild, but then she got pregnant again, so he's evicting her. And she says that the mama don't even want her now because she got pregnant again. Remember to pay your taxes. 1/3 of every tax dollar that you pay to the government goes to social services to keep these people happy and healthy and taken care of and fed so that they do not rebel in the streets and kill you. It's effectively extortion. Speaking of race riots, the British have threatened, wag they finger and shit at Americans. Let's take a listen to this fucking faggot.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you.
Talk to me about that, because we have seen some high-profile figures whipping up the hatred. You talked about it in there with the officers, in fact, about this being added to by online commentary. I mean, I'm even thinking of the likes of Elon Musk getting involved. What are you considering when it comes to dealing with people who are whipping up this kind of behaviour from behind a keyboard, maybe in a different country?
Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can be guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material. All of those offences are in play if people are provoking hatred and violence on the streets, and we'll come after those individuals just as we will physically confront on the streets the thugs and the obs who are causing the problems for communities.
He's threatening to try and extradite Americans for terrorism charges, for incitement to violence. I don't know if that'll work. 1776 will commence again. That's all I gotta say to that shit. Good luck taking care of your own country first before you try to import more prisoners. Look at this fucker. This guy, you could smash his glasses and he would be completely helpless. All some Muslim dude has to do is run up, pick up his frames, throw them on the ground, and step on them. And this guy might as well be a 90-year-old man in a hospice. You can do whatever the fuck you want to him. He's helpless. Hope that doesn't happen to him, though. That'd be terrible. Meanwhile, in the United States, though, the U.S. is becoming more based, slowly but surely. There was a split over the 5th and 4th Circuits. The 4th Circuit of the United States is the appellate court that sits above the federal districts for the District of Columbia, Maryland, Virginia, North and South Carolina, and West Virginia, I think. And then the 5th Circuit is Tejas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. So the 4th Circuit, which is Fed Central, said that the government can give warrants for geofencing data, and the 5th said they cannot because it's a violation of your right to privacy. And geofencing, if you don't know, this is a little map. Is basically them saying, well, we had an incident in this area. We know that and it happened right here on this like intersection. So we want everybody who was in this area between the times of 3 and 4 p.m. on June 19th, 2024. And then they submit this warrant to basically all the cell phone carriers and big data aggregates. So they send it to Google, they send it to Apple, they probably send it out to T-Mobile and Verizon and AT&T, and then they get a list of every electronic device that moved through that area between those times. And they go down the list to try and find out who would be a suspect in these cases. So okay, there was a mugging. Let's get all the people that passed through this, and then let's take out all the white people, and then, okay, this guy, Abdul Sheikh Muhammad, who had 3 prior convictions for battery that we just keep letting out on the street. That's probably him. Let's go see where he was at, see what his alibi is, and they go see him, and he has a cut on his face that's recent. Like, well, that's pretty fucking suspicious, isn't it? So that's what geofencing is. It's obviously an invasion of your privacy to have Google sell your ass out basically at any time, just based on where you're at. And then you end up in some government investigation just because you happen to be vaguely within a kilometer of some point of event that happened. Total bullshit. So Tejas is carrying some weight and has directly thrown down the gauntlet at DC yet again. And now the fourth is going to it's going to go to the Supreme Court, because the government of the federal district is going to have to take that overturn that in the fifth, and they're going to have to go to the Supreme Court and says, well, now we have a appellate court split that's not in our favor. And then it goes before the Supreme Court, and they'll make like a final verdict in regards to if geofencing type warrants are constitutional or not. And based off of this Supreme Court, they'll probably have that split where that fat beaner woman and that black woman that has that ridiculous fucking name. We have a Supreme Court justice, by the way. Her name is like literally Shaniqua or some shit. Let's see, what's her name? I just want to see there we go. Ketanji Brown Jackson. So if we take this split and we put it up to this fine panel of people, I'm going to go ahead and say that Sonia Sotomayor, Amy Coney Barrett. Actually, no, she's a Trumper. What the fuck? I didn't know that. I didn't know who the fuck is this woman? Where did she come from? How long has she been on the Supreme Court? I've never heard of her. And then you got Ketanji. That'll probably be the split. Oh, we need the news hand. That's right. So the issue with the news ham is that now people just fucking spam my chat when the hamster's not on the screen. Okay. Good luck with that. Speaking of politics, this is just, I'm not going to like it. I tried asking people if there's anything interesting about this, and there wasn't. Donald Trump returned to Zitter, says, are you better off now than where you were when I was president? Our economy is shattered, our border has been erased, we're a nation in decline. Make the dream affordable again, make America safe again, make America great again. This is his first post on Zitter since his indictment in 2023, or his arrest in 2023. So his contract with Truth Social might be over, is what people are speculating. And he immediately went on to Twitter Spaces to have basically a teleconference call with Elon Musk with an audience of like several million people. And apparently they didn't really discuss anything interesting. Apparently Elon tried to convince Trump to get more choo-choo trains, and Trump agreed that we needed more choo-choo trains, and it was a shame that we didn't have enough choo-choo trains. So far, me, Trump, and Elon, all of us agree, the country needs more choo-choo trains. See, in my head, I see a giant, like, V, like a triangle shape. We need to connect D.C. all the way down to the Panama Canal, and then all the way up to Seattle, and then cut across the Rockies and the Great Plains, and make a big triangle, and have another one of those branch up to to Anchorage, and all of that would be America. See, I think we should cut it so that LA down to like Austin, down to there, we'll just call that the free Mexican economic zone. And then we'll make all the white parts of the country exclusively white. And we'll take back Canada, too. You know, Canada was meant to be a part of the Manifest Destiny. It was just considered that one day we would just annex Canada. But the pussies never did. Like, Canada never declared independence, so we couldn't take them. So they just remained this blight on our map. But we can manifest our destiny truly and completely and take back Canada. And then we can build our choo-choo trains from DC up to, isn't Quebec? Quebec's the really big one, right? That goes all the way up to like Greenland. Is there like a nice city in Quebec? Probably not. Let me look at a map real quick. Hold up. I'm going to tell you where my choo-choo trains will go real quick. Okay, then I want to go to maps. Let's see where we're going to build these choo-choo trains, chat. Okay. Oh, Newfoundland's all the way up there. That's what I was thinking of. Here we go. Okay, we got this choo-choo train, right? It's in DC. It's important. And we build it up there. I guess I could go to Prince Edward Island. That would make sense, right? Prince Edward Island seems nice. What's up here? Is there anything in Newfoundland? Chat, educate me on Canada. Is there anything in this I didn't even know it was up there. I thought that was all Quebec. That entire giant peninsula was Quebec. What the fuck's in Newfoundland? Is there anything there? No. The Canadians are informing me that there is no Newfoundland. There's nothing there. Oh my god, is that town seriously called Happy Valley Goose Bay? We're going to build a giant choo-choo train from DC all the way up to Happy Valley Goose Bay, because that is just adorable. And that way, when you it'll be the Happy Valley Goose Bay to Panama City Expressway, and everyone will know the name of this and say, yeah, you got to take the Happy Valley Goose Bay 6,000 miles south if you want to get to Tabasco. That'll be like a real sentence that will make sense in our new future. I think that this is the appropriate way to handle this. Mama JF's corpse. Yeah. I think we got dude, look, this chair is a piece of shit. It's a part of the Airbnb I'm at. And it started out squeaky, and I have done many streams in it, and it's not holding up. My real chair is at my actual computer that I use for shit. This is just my laptop. Anyways, yes, so we'll build the choo-choo train. Elon and Trump and I will plan this out. Happy Valley Goose Bay to Panama City. It's coming soon. 2024. Make America great again. Make Canada America again. It's coming. Cool. So, following that thought that I interrupted with my autism about how to lay out a train track for the United States, Politico made fun of them because during their conversation, X had technical issues. Elon claimed that this was a DDoS attack, and I will again remind people of my schizo theory. DDoS attacks are a form of network-level attack which has existed on the uppercase I internet and other forms of internet infrastructure for 30 years. I want to say DDoS attacks were first observed in the 1990s. I think even in the 80s. We've known about it for a long time, is what I'm trying to say. And in that time, never has there been an RFC proposed by the Internet Engineering Task Force, the IETF, which is a part of the IE3. Never have they ever suggested a way to fix this. And there are some things that could be done to mitigate the impact that DDoS attacks have, because it's very, very expensive for the end receiver of these attacks to mitigate them themselves. You almost always require a DDoS mitigation security service. There's only a handful that exist in the whole world, and then you have Cloudflare to protect individual sites. And to the point where Cloudflare is basically a necessity. Government websites, federal and local, in the United States and abroad, 50% of all websites and something like 30 to 40% of internet traffic every year passes through Cloudflare. And I maintain that these companies that have lots of influence in the IETF do not propose RFCs to modify TCP or UDP to make network-level attacks less easy to orchestrate, because DDoS mitigation is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry, and if you eliminate this level of network attack, then it makes big providers less competitive. Like the big thing about hosting with AWS, or by using Magic Transit with Cloudflare, or using a big provider like DigitalOcean or Linode or Tencent, is that you never have to worry about DDoS attacks. It's bundled for free into your service plan, because they just so happen to have, terabytes or terabits of traffic at every one of their locations. So they can easily handle a DDoS attack for you. Meanwhile, if you try to start up an ISP, you're fucked. There's no way that you can handle a DDoS attack by yourself. You have to pay out the nose to route your traffic through an intermediary that will sell you this DDoS mitigation service themselves. They could fix it. They could pass RFCs that mandate that, for instance, Cogent and Hurricane Electric are big ISPs in the United States that don't filter out outbound traffic. So if you forge a packet and say this traffic is coming from an IP that router belonging to Cogent or Hurricane Electric knows doesn't exist on their network, they don't filter it, because then they would have to invest into computers and network filtering to handle something that's basically not their fucking problem. And I think that could be fixed. And they choose not to, because, and by the way, not only is DDoS attacking creating an industry that doesn't need to exist if they actually fix the originating issue, it also creates a man-in-the-middle attack. And the man-in-the-middle attack is the reason why HTTPS exists. If you go to a Starbucks and you open up your phone and you go to Google and type in something embarrassing, Starbucks can't read that information. If it could, and it did, that would be called a man-in-the-middle attack. And back before HTTPS was super commonplace, public Wi-Fi hotspots were always a security threat, because then they could read your traffic and they could get your passwords, for instance, to your bank account and stuff like that. So HTTPS was born, and Cloudflare is significant to that, because Cloudflare, when you use it as a DDoS mitigation service, terminates your SSL. So when you connect to your bank and you pass through your credentials, it's actually being decrypted and inspected by Cloudflare as a part of their security apparatus to make sure it's not forged traffic or junk data. But that, of course, means that they're technically a man-in-the-middle attack. They terminate SSL and they inspect your packets. And we just assume that because they're a big company, that there's no issue there. They're just doing what they advertise. But if they were compromised, if they were a accessory to the NSA, they could be conducting mass surveillance on basically everybody in the entire world continuously every day, and nobody would know, because how the fuck would you? You would have to rely on a whistleblower. So, DDoS attacks could be fixed, but the IETF and the IE3 doesn't want to, for financial reasons, and the government doesn't want to fix them either, because Cloudflare is actually extremely useful to them, and that's my schizo theory. Hopefully that makes sense to people who are laymen. So it's also, in relation to this, it's useful because you have X, and even though Elon is a billionaire and X is a massive platform, all you need to take down a big service like X is to saturate their tubes. The internet is not a big truck. It's a series of tubes. And Elon might have a terabit per second of data, which is an extraordinary amount of bandwidth. It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in bandwidth. But if there's enough Internet of Things refrigerators that are compromised, and this is a true thing, there was a botnet comprised of fucking refrigerators that some bot master, bot lord, I forget what they call the guys that own the botnets, that some guy basically had control of. So he was able to extort companies for tons of money by using a collection of refrigerators to DDoS attack corporate infrastructure. So if you have enough refrigerators angry at you in the world, then guess what? Your 1 terabit of data per second doesn't mean shit, because you're going to get your pipes clogged, and then legitimate traffic can't access your fucking website. That's just how it works. So it's total fucking bullshit is what I'm getting at. They do it intentionally. They know what they're doing. They're not fucking dumb. You mean to tell me that the multi-trillion-dollar a year industry with over 3 billion daily active users can't scrap together an RFC to figure out how to mitigate malicious originating traffic on networks? You don't think so? You don't think they can? But we flew people to the fucking moon. You don't think we can figure out how to stop DDoS attacks if we really wanted to? You don't think that the total and complete alignment of what should be corporate and government interests in stopping DDoS attacks should be enough motivation to actually get it done? No, because the corporations want DDoS mitigation as a service, and so does the government, because Cloudflare is selling data. Anyways. Sorry, it's one of my things that I'm very passionate about. So this was sent to Elon after Mr. Trump was unbanned. This is by Theory Breton, who says, Mr. Musk, I am writing you in the context of recent events in the United Kingdom and in relation to the planned broadcast on your platform Hex of a live conversation between the U.S. presidential candidate and yourself, which will also be accessible to users in the EU. I understand that you are currently doing a stress test of the platform. In this context, I am compelled to remind you of your due diligence obligations to the Digital Services Act, as outlined in my previous letter. As the individual entity ultimately controlling a platform with over 300 million users worldwide, of which 1/3 is in the EU, that has been designated as a very large online platform. Very large online platforms in regards to their censorship acts in the EU. It's the technical term for a business that has like a expected 1 hour response rate to any hate speech. Otherwise, they get fined like 5% of their annual turnover per hour that they don't respond. That's TERG, if I remember correctly. I think that's where that comes from. You have a legal obligation to ensure X's compliance with the EU law, and in particular the DSA in the EU. This notably means ensuring, on one hand, that freedom of expression and of information, including media freedom and pluralism, are effectively protected, and on the other hand, that all proportionate and effective mitigation measures are put in place regarding the amplification of harmful content in the connection with relevant events, including live streaming, which, if unaddressed, might increase the risk profile of X and generate detrimental effects on civic discourse and public security. And he goes on, and he's a faggot. And he has a stupid fucking name, Theory Breton. This guy got his ass beat. I have a feeling that he was the last player in the soggy biscuit game in the British locker rooms. I read a statistic once that something like 50% of men are sodomized in football clubs in the UK. This guy, Theory Breton, any day that he's playing football is a bad day to be playing football in the UK as a Theory Breton. That's what I'm trying to say. He lost on purpose. Maybe by the end, not at first. This letter was so fucking gay and cringe and autistic that the actual EU Commission had to come out and say, sorry for this retard's embarrassing letter. This was not... He's an internal market commissioner, and he wrote this stupid-ass fucking letter without our permission and sent it. Now we look like a bunch of retards. Our apologies, Mr. Musk. Another British owl, this time from the EU. What is this? How is there a British man? It just occurred to me, how is there a British man in the European Commission? Where the fuck is this guy from? I've just been assuming that he's British. Is he French? Thierry Breton. Oh my god. Dude. No way. This guy, this is him right here. He is French, which I guess I should have realized because his name is Breton, and that's the little doodad that sticks off the west coast of France. But they say he's French and Senegalese. He was born in Paris. He's a citizen of Senegal. Since in 2015, this dude became a citizen of Senegal. There's no fucking way that is not tax fraud. I guarantee you this guy is worth 30 cents, or, yeah, they call it cents in the euro, right? He's worth €1, one little euro coin in France, and like $500 million in Senegal. For sure, that's what's going on. Is BB? I don't think so. I don't think Chantal would be into this guy. Can someone explain to me why Elon Musk is wearing a shirt that has the flag of the Islamic State on it? That's exactly what, like, hold up. And pull it up so chat knows I'm not retarded, okay? Check him. This is it, right here. He's wearing this on his fucking shirt. Elon, you got some explaining to do. When did Elon take up the cause of jihad? Because I'm looking at it, and I know what I see, chat, and I don't like what I see. It's scaring me, chat. I don't think Elon was supposed to save us. He was supposed to save us. Oh well, hopefully he'll return to the light side, chat. Zoom in. I can't. It's even when I zoom in, it's even worse. Come on, it's like 1-to-1. This is ridiculous. I don't know how he gets away with this shit. You can wear a Trump hat and get beaten in public, but Elon's walking around in the EU with a fucking Islamic State shirt, and everyone's just like, yeah, this is fine. We don't want to be Islamophobic by asking questions about it. It's the same thing. Okay. Are you American? Guess what? You're fucked. A hack may have exposed the data of 3 billion people. There's a background company today, called National Public Data, which has been hacked in an anime avatar released a 277 gigabyte database to breach forums. This will include basically the social security card and God knows what else for every single person in the United States. So, if you... Wait, is chat like actually confused about the Islam? Are you guys like retarded? I'm not being serious. I realize that he's wearing probably like a fucking SpaceX shirt or some shit. Are you guys like dense? What the fuck's wrong with you? Anyways, if you're an American, your social security card has been leaked and probably other important background data from the National Public Data Company, which I believe is used by the government to do background checks. What can you do? You're fucked. There's nothing you can do. Look, here's what we need to do. 80 years ago, a crippled demon rose to power in the United States and implemented Social Security. He has thankfully since died, and he died before the war ended, so he never got to see the infernal fruits of his labor come to fruition. Instead, he was sentenced early to tumble downstairs forever and ever, amen, as he deserves, because he is hellspawn, and he belongs in hell. So FDR created Social Security and gave us all a Social Security number. And now in the United States, we have a 9-digit number. And look, I'm going to do it. Watch this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to add. I'm going to go to text. Oh, there's my text. How about this right here? Uh-oh, I have committed identity fraud. There is a number, a 9-digit number with hyphens. Dun, dun, dun. And that's literally our security in the United States. That's what blocks other people from being able to open credit cards in your name, buy houses with your credit score. What do people ask as a password for basically every fucking important institution in the entire country? What do you write on your tax returns? What do you write to every government form ever? You write a 9-digit number that you can never change. Even if it gets leaked, you will always have a 9-digit number. So it's time. Like, okay, you got us. You pulled a fast one. We didn't ever want a national ID card, and we still don't, but you got the Social Security number in. It's basically a fucking ID card. Let's move the fuck on. Every other country on the planet Earth has a more secure ID system than the one that we have in the United States, and we already have a national ID through the fucking Social Security card, so let's just finish it. Let's have a national ID. Let's have that tied into voter security so that you have to show your ID card and that gets checked off so you can only vote once. Let's have like an actual fucking ID system then. Because this is retarded. Like, okay, you already fucking won. We're already tagged like cattle. So now that we're tagged like cattle, can we move to a different tagging system that's not fucking stupid, that actually protects our privacy, and that we can actually use to secure the elections in the United States? Or since we're already there, since we're already fucked over, can we at least do it right? If you're gonna fuck me, can you fuck me correctly? Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're flopping around. You're not hard. Come on, government, step it the fuck up. If you're gonna fuck, you better do it right. Why? Why is it a 9-digit number? There's almost enough people in the United States to have exhausted all of them at this point. Let's move the fuck on with this. This is unrelated to politics, but whatever. Tim Peters, who is one of the most important contributors to Python, someone whose name shows up in multiple core modules to Python, such as the Tim sort. If you've ever done any kind of data analysis, you've definitely been exposed to Python, or if you've done any kind of machine learning, even as like someone who's just into like math and not like computing, you've probably worked with Python and you probably know what a fucking Tim sort is. Well, the Tim who made the Tim sort is being suspended from the Python Foundation. And what did this secret chud do to earn the ire of the Code of Conduct Enforcement Committee in Python? Well, chat, this man publicly stated that this clip was funny. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, Josh, saying that SNL is funny is probably grounds for dismissal. I agree, but this is from 30 years ago. Let's see what it is.
Station manager Dan Aykroyd. During the past few weeks in Los Angeles, actor Lee Marvin and his former live-in companion Michelle Triola Marvin have been in court to settle her claim that he owes her half his income from the 6 years they lived together. That is the subject of tonight's point-counterpoint. Jane will take the pro-Michelle Marvin point, while I take the anti-Michelle Triola counterpoint. Jane?
Dan, times change, and so that's the news. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
I mean, he goes pretty hard. I can see this as, dude, now that I've mentioned this, I can just, Ralph will just watch this and like masturbate. He's like, God, I wish I could own my ex-wives like Dan Aykroyd owned this fucking ignorant slut. Oh, it was a different time, chat. I think it was like 45 years ago. How long ago was 1979? Can I do math in my head? Let's see, that's 21 plus 24. 45 years ago. That's a long-ass fucking time. I don't know. I mean, when I listened to it, I laughed out loud because it was like so abrupt. Because she was like kind of tactful, and then it gets to his turn, and he's just like, go fuck yourself. Obviously, the joke is that he's a miserable person, and he lashes out. It's very pithy, but that's kind of the joke. So it's kind of weird to take that and then be like, well, that necessarily means that he hates women, right? Because he thought that this was funny. But the Code of Conduct team needs to exist, so they have to justify their right to exist by lashing out. Because if there was a Code of Conduct team that reviewed everybody's conduct and said, well, everything's looking good, we're really happy with how things are progressing, what the fuck's the point? Seems like your community self-moderates. So do we really need a full-time staff position of multiple people to review Code of Conduct? Probably not. And that's assuming that they're even paid. But we all know, and I need to describe this in a way. I need like a term for this. Crunklord, who will be mentioned again in a second, calls it technocracy. But I feel like we need like a very specific name for this, like tranny bureaucracy or tranocracy or whatever. There exist certain things that people maintain for free that requires a little level of dedication and skill and intelligence that's often in short supply, such as maintaining a programming language, editing Wikipedia, things that require necessarily, because of their purpose, a type of person that's in short, hard to come by. And then, for various reasons, they start to implement a bureaucratic layer to managing this service, managing Wikipedia, managing a programming language or a open source software project. And then this bureaucracy layer becomes so complicated and so stupid that only the most useless people with the most amount of free time can possibly hope to understand what the fuck it does or what things mean. And then this bureaucracy layer subverts and ruins the actual thing that it was supposed to protect and support. And it's a very common occurrence now, where it's like, smart, productive people who have a good work-life balance, they do other shit besides sit around trying to find things to busy themselves with. But trannies, they don't really do that. They're obsessive, mentally ill freaks, and they just want to get their hobby is fucking with other people. So they take up the mantle and they use the abundance of free time that they have to subvert this thing at a bureaucratic layer, and then boot out the useful people who don't have the time to deal with that kind of bullshit, and they ruin it. And it does happen outside of tech, but I guess it's like a busybody factor too, because it happens in real life. It happens with real organizations, and it's so frustrating because so many good things are ruined by the busybody trannies. I wish there was a stinky gross redditors tranocracy. I don't know. It's hard to say. I would be interested. Leave a comment or make a post on the Math the Internet thread. How you would summarize this? What field you would apply it to? Give me some examples, because I want to see if I can hone in on this and create here's how you identify dead weight fucking retards in your organization. Here's how you keep something that you created pure and not allow it to be subverted by gross trannies. Wait, watch that. This is related. So this is from Space Station 14. Speaking of the tranocracy, this guy is I want to say if the piracy situation is what I was thinking it is, this guy's like a developer who made that furry porn game. Is that accurate? Oh yeah, the Space Station multiverse. There was some guy who pirated a furry porn game, and that was also one of the developers of Space Station 14, and they got into a little tizzy, and they've blocked by IP address a server they don't like. So this is a remake of Space Station 13 in some other fucking language, and it hasn't even entered beta. It's still open alpha, and the freak trannies that are running this shit are already blocking servers they don't like. Not just from appearing on the hub. It's not like they're just strictly delisted from the index of servers. You cannot join the server from the HUD. You have to join it through some other mechanism to bypass the hub. So it's like that. That's how fucking obsessed and retarded these people are. And of course, they're just trannies. This guy's avatar is apparently cut from pornography he commissioned of his furry OC. And he's compromised the lore of the game. I remember reading this to you guys a couple weeks ago, where they were trying to create a bad guy in the universe. In Space Station 13, you have the Syndicate, and that's just the generic catch-all umbrella term they have for the bad guys that try to blow up the station in some game modes. And it's very simple. You spawn into the game as the Syndicate. You're just a random character. You're generated completely random character, completely random name. You're given gear, and you're basically just tasked as a random bad guy to blow up the station. Well, the furry retard trannies that are developing this shit don't like that because, number one, the randomly generated characters won't let you play your furry OC. So this guy who is a gooner is upset that he wouldn't be able to play the game mode as his OC, which is kind of the fucking point because they're supposed to be bad guys and not your OC that you play every game. But he didn't like that, so that's taken out of the game. And then they're thinking well, if you're having these other species in the Syndicate, that kind of defeats the purpose, because they're supposed to be like a human organization. And then a bunch of people are like, no, you can't have a humanist organization, because humanism is kind of like racism. It's an allegory for racism. And racism is so bad, you cannot even have fictional allegories of it in your space station simulator, even though they're the bad guys, because that upsets me. I want to play my furry roleplay character as the syndicate. So it's just like supreme fucking autism that inherently undermines the joy of the game. When Christchurch happened, I was in Ukraine, and I was very isolated, and it was, Ukraine's a very nice place, but I only had one friend in the area, and he wasn't always around. So for a long time, I would be just completely by myself. And when Christchurch happened, it was the biggest ordeal that I had gone through up until that point. And it was a very big step up from other incidents, and it was so publicized and talked about that it made its way to like family. And like I would get messages from people I hadn't talked to in 5+ years, like, what the fuck? And it was extremely taxing for me to deal with it. And only like a couple weeks before, I had seen Seth Zintak make a review about Space Station. And I thought, that's a really autistic game, but it sounds fun, but I don't really have time for it anymore. And after Christchurch, I was so stressed out that I decided I need to unwind. Let me try that Space Station game. And it was the most fun I've ever had in a video game, ever. To the point where I played it like a month straight, like 12+ hours a day, every day. And I would forget to eat. I would go days without eating. That was the only time in my entire life I had gone days without eating. And now I see, years later, the slow decline as TG Station literally re-backronized their name, TG, to not have anything to do with the traditional games board on 4chan. And they banned certain language, they banned certain roleplay concepts, they banned being mean to lizards. You can't call them liggers anymore. And then it's been completely repossessed by trannies, who are now going to fundamentally reprogram the game to be some woke dystopia that they can goon in their furry OCs. And if you don't like what they're doing, they'll ban you from their hub, even though they are aware that the ERP servers that they're hosting on their hub is against Steam terms of service, but they say Valve will ignore that sort of thing. So they're happy to take advantage of terms of service when it comes to their furry ERP goon sessions. But for people doing things that they don't like or implementing rules that they don't approve of, they'll just straight up fucking ban you from the HUD. And I have absolute and utter contempt for these fucking faggots. And I'm so glad that we know who they are and we know what they look like and we have their resumes, because people like this should never be allowed to work near anything that's important. Any kind of lever that has any influence over anybody else's life should never be held by someone like this fucking idiot. And I want the names, eventually, when we win, I want the names of every single person who's ever worked for any tech company during this era. And I want a giant stack of names and faces fed into an AI that can recognize them a mile away. And if they ever get anywhere near any position of power, the AI will fucking call them out and print their name out and a picture of them and where they're at to some secret police who will round them up and drown them in the fucking sea. Like, they're so fundamentally compromised. They don't operate or appreciate the same rights that we do. They enjoy taking advantage of people, and they enjoy ruining things, and it makes them happy. And it's the only fucking thing we live for, or they live for. They don't appreciate things like we do. They appreciate destroying things and making it. Because if you think about what does a normal human being care for? A normal person cares about stabilizing their life. They care about progressing themselves, eventually having a family, protecting that family, having kids, and then having it so that their kids have a better start at life than they did. But people like this and this guy, they will never do that. They're losers. They're going to tune out. They're going to cut their dick off. And so when you think of like the right to procreate, and how angry you would be if somebody tried to tell you, no, you can't ever have kids because we say so. That's what the trannies feel when you try to tell them, no, you can't pink pill kids. You can't give little kids estrogen anymore. You can't cut off little baby dicks anymore. They feel that kind of primordial instinct level outrage that you would if the government tried to tell you you can only have one child. They feel that when you tell them you can't troon kids out anymore. They're full-grown men, but their instincts are completely warped. They have an instinct to deprive you of rights. They have an instinct to accumulate so that they can goon more. They have an instinct to reproduce through harming people, as opposed to building things and entering normal, healthy relationships. They're like a mirror of a normal thing. I really don't like them. That's what I'm trying to say. And they ruined a game that I liked. So fuck them. Okay. So, a little bit more news, and then we'll have some sector and some cows. There's actually a lot to talk about. This might be a long stream. Needless to say, the trannies won both boxing events in the Women's Olympics. So both gold medal Olympians for women's boxing sports are troons. No big surprise. I would hate to be the guys that have to fudge the that work the boxes at like a gambling for sports betting. Like you have to go through and find out who all the trannies are before you set the odds for all the competitors. I remember there was, I think in 2014 there was that tranny that was like the New Zealand competitor for Olympic weightlifting, and he was like so much better than his runner up, but it was such a spectacle and it was so early into the tranny shit that it was like inexcusable. So he, at the very last second, like it was weightlifting. So he was like, he lifted up his weights, and then even though he could obviously do this and had did it like a million times and would win, he like threw his weights and went, and I was like, oh my God, he lost. A real woman wins the Olympic weightlifting gold medal. Holy shit. I guess trannies don't have an innate advantage. Huh, transphobes. And it was like the most obvious flub in the history of mankind, specifically mankind as opposed to womankind. But it worked, and it set back human rights by decades. And I've mentioned this tranny before a bunch of times. He shows up recording himself at various restaurants looking like this, and just looking at him makes me sick. Look at those spindly locks of greasy man hair, thin and balding because of his hormonal fuck-ups that he's done to his own body. He shows up at restaurants and then goes through the, like, specifically restaurants that apparently have like ESL staff, and they say, sir? And he's like, it's not sir, it's ma'am. Oh my God, I am so triggered. And he makes like a big deal out of it, and he posts it to TikTok. And that's like his entire channel. He just goes out to restaurants and gets triggered because he looks like a man and people say sir to him. But he's done a little oopsie doodle.
Time nugget.
Let's do an instant replay.
Time nugget.
Nugget is the name of his dog.
Time nigger.
That's an offensive word for black people that you cannot say or think for any reason as a white person because you will be instantly canceled.
Nugget.
Look at that face where he just realized he fucked up.
Nugget shivers a lot. Dude,
the way that he says shivers, oh my God. Let me find something real quick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure this out. Dude, do any of you have... It's like a Discord meme where it's like a pirate and he's going, arg, shiver me. Shiver me. Shiver me timbers. Shiver me.
Nugget.
And it's, the way that he says nugget shivers, it just reminds me of that stupid Discord pirate meme. Arr. Yes, you have it? Okay, post it in the Man at the Internet thread. I'll play it. I trust you. I trust that you're not lying to me. Arr. Don't give me the one that's like super violent. I just want the one where he says that. There's like a he's like a Discord troll. He'll call into like there was a video of him calling into like a Discord call where he was supposed to do like a spooky pasta reading. Sorry. Then over the ship he saw something 1,000,000 times more terrible than a Cthulhu or a giant squid. Do you know what he saw, me kiddies? And then all the people are like, oh, what did he see? Because it was supposed to be like that, like a group participation thing. And they was like, and then he saw the biggest, blackest
Nugget?
and then everyone's like, oh, dude, no. You can't say that. You can't say that. I don't think I'll be able to. Oh, wait, here it is. I'm being tagged. I think this is it. Let's see. I have to sign in to confirm my age. Fuck you. Oh, here it is.
So, it was a dark and stormy night. We were sailing across the Atlantic, and all of a sudden, we hear a big rumble, and there wasn't any thunder. We go get out of our quarters, and we look, and it's the Kraken! He starts ravaging the ship, but then there was something even scarier. Can you guess what?
What was it, Peter?
A bunch of fucking niggers started...
Oh, it's so good. Can I archive this video really quick? Hold up. I have to solve a cryptographic challenge. And was the cryptographic? Oh. Is it not going to be able to do it? Sorry, I really want this, but I don't think I'll be able to. Shrinshine posted the one that I was thinking of second, but I'm gonna try. Then I have to give up. Peter Muskrat is funny, but I can't stop the whole stream for him. Such is life, chat. Wait, what if I'm not sending on that either. Can I open it on my phone? Okay, so News Hamster dismissed the other thing. There's a guy, I made fun of him. His name is Brad Taste. He was chimping out there. He was actively defending some weird tranny sex pest for no fucking reason. He was the guy that was like, hey guys, my channel is a super safe place for women and FA survivors, and if you disagree with that, then get the heck out. Just get the heck out. And then he defended this weird tranny rapist until the backlash was so enormous that he could no longer survive it. He booted the tranny out, said, sorry, I didn't mean to defend a rapist like that. And then I made the bold prediction. That Brad Taste would troon out. And after he took a little break, he came back and posted a celebratory selfie. And chat, Brad Taste sisters, it's not looking so good. I think that we're tiptoeing closer and closer to the inevitable with this guy. He just has all the hallmarks, got all the symptoms. I think it's Jover for him. I think that the pipeline is already chugging along. He's on that choo-choo train from Panama City to Happy Goose Valley. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It's alright. It's Jover. Then, also noteworthy, very noteworthy to everybody, one of the most historically significant events in human history. This is the 10th anniversary of Game War Gate. I believe that would be on 15th. I can't remember what day is exactly the 10th. I want to say it's the 15th or 16th. And it all started when Alec Baldwin, who's in the middle of Mount Gamergate right there, coined the term Gamergate to describe a little kerfuffle. Well, let me take you back. Let me explain what Gamergate was. Thousands of years ago, there was a woman named Zoe Quinn, whose real name is Chelsea von Falkenberg. And she created a game called Depression Quest that was basically a choose-your-own-adventure slideshow. It barely qualified as a game at all. But it won multiple nominations for Best Indie Game, which is just fucking insulting, because especially during that year in particular, I think there were a lot of good indie games that had just come out. Indie games were becoming like AAA gaming was on its decline, and indie gaming was becoming more and more respected every year, so that this fucking bullshit slideshow Depression Quest won Indie Picture got a lot of people speculating as to why. And the eventual conclusion was that Zoe Quinn, Chelsea von Valkenburg, had slept with 5 guys, which created the 5 guys meme. She had hoed around, fucked all of these men, despite being incredibly painfully mid, and got their nomination, secured their vote for Indie Game Award, despite her game being a slideshow with no... It was like a slideshow with like pictures that she had taken about how hard it was to get out of bed because she was a fat hoe, and it was just awful. So Alec Baldwin coined this kerfuffle Gamergate, and it gave rise to several people that we all know today. Ethan Ralph had been hosting the kill stream for about a year with his wife Nora, but latching on to Gamergate made the kill stream into a very popular internet show. At its peak, the kill stream had 6,000 plus concurrent viewers on YouTube. He would rake in thousands of dollars every night. He would routinely have big names from YouTube just show up on his stream. This is a representation of Ralph. He's also in Mount Gamergate. Between Baldwin and Ethan Ralph is the internet aristocrat. If you know, you know. And that is Milo Yiannopoulos, who, by the way, just became the president of Censored TV. So he's now the boss of a bunch of different people, which is just... I think Censored TV is InfoWars' company. And because they're going through I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it was Alex Jones's. But Alex Jones has been sued for $11 million trillion and is unable to bankrupt out of it. So all of his businesses are now bankrupt because he has to pay a bunch of Jews money until the day he dies. And as part of the bankruptcy proceedings, he has a court-appointed bankruptcy officer who has placed Milo Yiannopoulos at the head of Censored TV. Which I'm sure that that government appointment leading to Milo taking over the company is just coincidence. He is, of course, on Mount Gamergate because having a Jewish gay man who was literally married to a black man was like the token gay Jewish British guy, and he was very useful for narrative purposes. The hashtag Not Your Shield was a thing in Gamergate, where basically women and blacks would say, I like video games and hate fat hoes. Hashtag Gamergate, hashtag Not Your Shield. And Milo was one of those because he was a gay Jewish man that sucked off black guys. So he gets up on, as one of the most impressive tokens, he takes a prize position on Mount Gamergate. And then that is Sergen. Sargon of Akkad already kind of had a channel going, I want to say. But then he started doing This Week in Stupid, I think is the name of his most successful thing. And he basically just did like a roundabout, like, look at these libtards acting like libtards. And it was phenomenally successful. Basically launched his career. Sargon was involved in Gamergate as well. And then he got a really big head, tried to run for office in UKIP and was absolutely humiliated. People threw fish at him and it kind of humbled him, so he kind of just slinked back off to his YouTube stuff, and he seems to be doing quite well for himself now. He has that Lotus Eaters podcast, which is very separate from what I'm interested in, so I don't know anything about it, but I think he's doing okay. And he has kids now. So that is basically the history of Gamergate, the foundation of it. A lot of people got really upset, and I think the biggest consequence of Gamergate was that one of the things that happened was that when people attacked Zoe Quinn, despite being a fat hoe, had one asset besides having sex with dumpy nerds for video game accolades, and that was as a von Valkenburg. She had a lot of industry contacts in media, and her friends, which included Anita Sarkeesian, who also had a plus 15% to Sheckelmeistering as a racial perk, and Brianna Wu, who was a tranny. They had a lot of friends and journalists, and the media ran all sorts of just outright lies about what was happening, about 8chan. Zoe Quinn, I think, was friends with Moot. So when Moot censored Gamergate-related threads on V, it kickstarted 8chan. As 8chan was around, but it wasn't very popular. Then all the V people moved to 8chan, and basically 8chan took off for a while, at least. And so the journalists publishing outright false things about what was happening and who was doing what, and the harassment and the swatting and all that shit, and the journalists just running with it. It was like a major red pill to a bunch of otherwise completely politically disinterested people. Like, all they wanted to do was play video games. There's even a meme where it's like Nazi Pepe hanging like a social justice warrior, and the pop-up bubble for his speech that says, "I just want to play video games." And it's true. Like, a lot of people realized how, because there was still trust in journalists at this time, and a lot of people just saw how willing big companies were to say things that could be demonstrably false, and how easy Wikipedia was to manipulate, and how these people would just censor shit outright without any shame. And it turned a lot of people into absolute fucking nut jobs that want to burn down the country. So that was the biggest outcome of Gamergate. Speaking of, someone is making a thread on Jace, because Jace is now involved in the Sam Hyde stuff. I don't know what's going on with that, but I will play a nice intro video from his channel a long time ago, at least a little bit of it.
This video is for fans only. If you're not a fan of me, then don't watch this video. Okay, so my name is, this is YouTube. My name is ParkourDude91, and I am on this site telling you in this YouTube channel trailer video what the fuck I am. My name is Jace W. Connors, and I am a future United States Marine. When I actually enlist in the armed forces, I'll be fighting against this nation's enemies to protect you, to protect your fucking right to go on here, okay? And on this site. And recently, I'm also known by another name, and that name is the name of Corporal Stryker. This is in the book that I created called Tiberius Rising, called Jace Connors, which is a realistic war novel about me if I was a special forces soldier, and in the book I can take out the enemy soldiers, called Jace Stryker and Corporal Stryker. This video is going to be an introduction to the series known as the Hater Hit List. Online, I have been getting trolled constantly by these fucking nerds from day one from the site 4chan, also known as K. Hold on. And these guys have been making my fucking life a living hell for as long as I can just been on here on this site. This are the people who are responsible. Now, this is a web, an intricate web I've created to trace the kingpin of this. This is me right here, and this is I'm connected to my gaming clan known as Deagle Nation, which is a website that I set up, and this is my friend Tice from high school, and this is the leader of a trolling group known as Gamer Food, who is domestic and Islamic trolling cult trying to troll me, and these are all different people
who've tried to troll me on this site, on YouTube. Well, not him or him actually, but these guys. And guess what? Have you noticed something? Yeah, I'll give you a while to notice it, basically. Yeah, that's right, dude. This fucking links all back to the site K. And this is the site from fucking 4chan, which is the weapons site for gun stuff and everything like that. And this, he was responsible for this. Moot, also known as Christopher Poole, the creator of 4chan, who has been creating this web of fucking lies around my life like I am spun inside of a web for a long fucking time. Do you see what this is? This is proof that I'm not a phony. This is proof that I can actually do what I'm talking about.
Jace early on ran a blog called like Deagles Are Cool, and he would post all this stuff about how like the Desert Eagle is the most spec ops Marine weapon because he's a member of the Marines. He knows that for sure, and this was a very elaborate troll because the Desert Eagle is a gas-powered 50 caliber rifle developed by the IDF, most notable for jamming constantly and not being practical as a weapon at all. So this would piss off a lot of people for two reasons. Number one, gun fags with autism would be triggered that the Desert Eagle would be it's just unwieldy. There's no reason. It's just a joke, basically. So that pissed off the gun autist, and the respect our military people would also spurg out because he's obviously not a Marine. They would ask for his MOS. He would not be able to give an MOS, and all they would start screaming stolen valor at him. And they would try to threaten him, say, boy, it's a crime. It's a crime to impersonate a U.S. Marine. And then Jace would fire back and say, no, it's actually not illegal to do that. It's illegal to claim that you've been awarded a meritorious award as a member of the armed forces, but it's not actually stolen valor to impersonate or claim to be a member of any branch of the armed forces. And he would, despite citing this law to their fucking face, they would still get really, really mad. And there's a poem that I want to read since I'm thinking about this, anyways. It's about it's a letter to our special armed forces, or not actually our special armed forces, but all of our military. It goes like this: I thank God for my life and for the stars and stripes. May freedom forever fly and let it ring. Salute to the ones who died, the ones who gave their lives, so we don't have to sacrifice all the things we love, like our chicken fried. When I hear this poem, I start to cry, and I realize how much I do love our military and how much I love chicken fried and how I wouldn't be able to enjoy chicken fried without the military. Semper Fidelis to all our armed forces, as Jace would say. Okay. This thread's in Prospering Grounds if you want to go read it. Jumping from one old standby to another, we have Amberlynn. So this is an explanation of Amberlynn's love triangle. So Amberlynn is currently with Emily, who goes by Tommy because she's a pooner feeder. It's Amber's current girlfriend, allegedly a feeder. It's not really alleged. She's definitely a fucking feeder, I'm pretty sure. Has a dead fat ex, just as evidence to the above point. She literally went on Dr. Phil or Murray or something and talked about how she was feeding her ex-girlfriend to death. And used to make feeder content with that fat ex. And then there's Alexis, Amber's ex-best friend. Stopped being Amber's friend because she doesn't agree with Amber's relationship with Emily. Leaked the fact that Amber filmed sexy cookie eating video for Erica, among others. And that one leaked, I think, where she's like trying to eat a cookie really like seductively. And says that Amberlynn led her on and told her she was in love with her while dating Erica. And then we'll cycle back to Erica. This pooner looking guy, whammon, named Valentine, is like her secret name. Amber's ex-girlfriend, she dated after breaking up with Wojcicki, who is the black woman from Kentucky. The relationship overlaps with Amber's relationships with Emily. And this is the real kicker. She was cheating on her wife, Brittany, with Amberlynn while claiming to be in an open marriage. Then Amberlynn knew that Valentine was in a relationship, but Erica had told Amberlynn that it was an open relationship, so it's okay, but it wasn't. When Brittany found out, who was the wife of Erica, wife in a government sense, not in a meaningful sense, did a live stream where she has seen Amber's nudes. So there's a threat that one day Amberlynn nudes will drop. Shout out Anime Sex Cope and Sneed, who I have had to ban from the beauty parlor because he was thirst posting in both Amberlynn and Chantal's threads, which is just completely against the rules of that board. Said her privates were covered in boils, which is disgusting. And then there's one other special mention here at this exact timestamp.
Toilet paper story. The toilet paper helper was used to hold things when little limbs can't reach.
She implies in this video that there's a special stick that Amberlynn Reid uses to wipe her ass because she's unable to reach around and wipe her own ass. However, there's a secondary hole near her ass which she may wish to reach, but is unable to because she is so fat. So she then has a stick that is dual purpose dildo holder and ass wiper that she uses to masturbate. That is the big revelation. Someone listened through this, well, the forum did, listened through 2 hours of this bullshit from this scorned ex of an ex to bring us the hot goss that Amberlynn's poop and dildo stick is the one and the same. That is the Amberlynn update. I hope you now feel informed, chat. I did not need to know that. Too bad. Okay, so Spunt starts us off in this community happenings post, which is a nice summary of events. There is a mystery. So to kick us off, where is Patrick Tomlinson? The most notable thing about Patrick S. Tomlinson is that he never stops fucking tweeting. So he announced that he would be going to a event, to like a writer's event in Edinburgh, and which should be pronounced Edinburgh if you really think about it. Posted his credentials and everything. Said that he was spending all of his airline miles to make it to Edinburgh, and then awakes at with jet lag in Edinburgh, and then will attend the terraforming panel with Stealthy Geek there. Or rather, he would have attended but was late, so he couldn't make it. But then he says he was there. But where is he? Even his friends are there, but there are no tweets from Patrick himself. Well, O&A Forum sent over a detective and found real footage that Patrick was at the Edinburgh convention. In fact, Patrick seems acutely aware he is being photographed at this convention. So he seems a little bit off-put there. But what's really, really, really funny is that he's wearing Converse shoes. Converse shoes. What is the what is the significance of the Converse shoes, chat? The significance is that when he posted a video of someone allegedly throwing a paint can at his vehicle in his driveway, this criminal cyber stalker harasser, felonious stalker child was wearing Converse shoes. And when confronted on this, Patrick said, "No, child, I do not own any Converse shoes. Apropos of nothing. Just randomly said it couldn't be me. I don't have those shoes." But chat, here we are with a live photo of him in Edinburgh wearing Converse shoes, the same Converse shoes as the one in the paint can incident. So, we are left with two mysteries here. Why does he own Converse shoes? And why isn't he live tweeting at this convention? And the suspicion is that they told him he could come. The original suspicion was that he got kicked out like he did at the other one. But now the suspicion is that he was told by the authorities of the convention not to talk about being at the convention, or they would kick him out because it would cause problems for them if he was like live tweeting about what he was doing there. So we will see how this develops, chat. The O&A people really want this guy to be convicted for his false police reports. So 11 years ago, no, not 11. Sorry, I was thinking of something else. 6 years ago, on August 11th, Terry Davis died. He committed suicide by jumping in front of a train. A very unfortunate end to a complicated life. Everyone knows who Terry Davis is. If you don't, just look up a fucking video about him. One person very dedicated to Terry Davis's work, the Temple operating system, is Crunklord. Terry's crowning achievement was the creation of a programming language called Holy C, which is based off of C, to which he wrote his own compiler. Writing a compiler to turn a computer language into, or like a programming language like Holy C, into an executable file that operates as machine code, or assembly even. I forget how that works. See, I don't even know how it works. That's how complicated it is. I'm pretty sure that it turns a programming language into actual machine code that is operated on the CPU. Or no, the CPU takes assembly, right? So it turns it into assembly, I'm pretty sure. But that's very complicated. That's what I'm trying to get at. Taking a programming language and making assembly out of it is a big pain in the ass. Writing assembly by hand is a monumental fucking task. So they use compilers to turn more convenient programming expressions into assembly, which the computer can actually interpret and run as machine code. That's my understanding of this. It's very low level. It's low level to the point where nobody has to understand what it is, unless you are an auteur who is on a divine mission by God himself to create a software temple to the Lord. Then you end up creating a compiler like Terry had. So, Crunklord has written a game engine in C that, using Holy C as a wrapper, can run on the Temple OS operating system. But because it is a regular C game, it can also cross-compile into WASM, which is an WebAssembly file, which means that you can play it on a browser if you so choose, and I so choose. So last year, he made Cyberchud. This year, he's working on some inner life stuff, and decided to still work on a little homage. So this is Chud's Vacation, so named because he was basically on vacation. It's a walking simulator, as he calls it. It has various performance improvements, the game engine has, and then I think he said he wrote like 14,000 additions, like 14,000 new lines of code. And the shader effect in the sky that you see is one of the new things that he wrote. So I've never actually played this before. Can I randomize the palette into something else? Ooh. I don't even know what you would call it. He has this, Crunklord's like visionary style is, ooh, that's nice. Is very reminiscent of that, Cruelty Squad game. I've never played it, but I've seen clips of it. And I don't even know what to call it. I'm going to call it like Chudcore is his design style. Uh-oh. I have to press enter. Okay, gotcha. If you're only listening, I am in the game. There is the weird Looney Tunes shader in the background. There's two houses. And I'm being confronted by Chud. It says that the West has fallen because of shit like this, which I assume references the, It's weird. If I press the number keys, I get these weird sound effects. I think that's like an error sound effect because I don't have any items in my inventory. Oh, there's cows, chat. Oh, I think that these cows are based off the 3D models that exist in Temple OS and Terry's other games. Oh, and they have collision. Very nice. The cows operate, obviously, on their own plane of existence, but they do wander about. I approve of this addition of cows. Oh, it's the docile cattle. These are the docile cattle that Terry warned us about. Here they are. It's a very nice herd of docile cattle. It could be said that you have a herd of cattle, this docile cattle, and they don't really do much. They just seem to eat and shit. This cattle, they just shit there, and they make me fucking rich. Just herd of cattle, docile, the most docile fucking cattle ever. Very nice. Let's see. So there'd be a condition. High interest rate environment. He also Crunklord's other interest is making money. He likes to make money, so he's implying that the interest rates have injured his ability to produce a game this year. So we just get a walking simulator. You voted for it. I didn't vote for shit. Fuck voting. Oh, there we go. Okay. There's a clock. That's a very nice clock model. Oh my god. I didn't realize that. I thought right-clicking might snap it in. This double-barrel shotgun looks exactly like the one in like that shotgun meme game. That is a nice clock, though. What time is it, though? It's only 3. It's exactly 3. And the second hand is is stuck. What happened at 3 o'clock that stuck this clock on the wall, chat? And then that is the logo of the hidden service. So if any of you need the URL to the Tor hidden service, you can always just play Cyberchud and convert it to. This is like one of those old-timey. This is a very base keyboard. I'm gonna be real with you. Very comfortable. Always just type it in from this monitor. Can I kill one of those cows? Do I dare? Do I kill? Oh wait. Ooh, I don't have to kill a cow. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is there more? I desire more death. Oh, look. On vacation. And it's Crunklord's avatar. It's a nice lamp. I should probably explore this floor. Oh. Dear Journal. This year I've been busy doing no things. Learning new skills. Living a healthier lifestyle. That's what I was talking about, chat. Not as productive as I wish to be. For some reason, he keeps saying that, and I disagree that he didn't put enough effort in. That's very cool, by the way. That this is the crowning. This is the biggest contribution to society that Keffels has ever made. The Wiggler was so funny that the Kiwi Farms made it their own thing, the Quiggler, and Crunklord had his own Quiggler, which has ended up in a Temple OS game. And by proxy of this offering, Keffels has done something interesting and worth noting. It's a nice server model. Oh, we're in the attic. Picture of Terry Davis above the bed. I cannot jump because the roof is here. Make games, don't play them. Terry Davis. Oh, that's right in the feels, man. I wish if the CIA ever gave me like $40 million to fuck off, I would make video games. There was ever like a super based video game that came out that everyone loved and was like the best game ever made. After the Kiwi Farms closed, just know that I made that. Probably. Kind of want to. These docile cattle are angering me, chat. Just their existence and how complacent they are in their own confines. That they could escape if they just wanted to. It fills me with hatred and contempt, chat. I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. Why do they not care? Why are they so happy? Just doing nothing all day. Just shitting and eating, chat. They disgust me. Feels good, chat. Billions. Billions and billions, chat. Can I just fall off the world? What happens if I do that? Oh, I can't. There's an invisible wall. I see. Neat. I can switch back. Well, I don't want to kill the chuds. I would kill more Trunellas. There was a spawner in the other one, but I guess there was only one on this island, and I've already taken care of them, so there's nothing more to be. Ah! This should never happen. Well, mister, it did, and I found a way. All right. That, my friends, is Chud's Vacation. Crunk Lord's game for 2024 to as a tribute to Terry Davis and Temple OS. You tried to break it on your stream? Nah. You gotta be a real connoisseur of breaking shit to break it. I manage. Alright. Neat. So neat, in fact, actually, that it got a little bit of a shout out. Let me pull it up real quick. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Let's see here. Here we go. I think that this is it.
Site known as Kiwi Farms, one of these users, known as Crunk Lord 420, had posted on their own Good account multiple different distributions and, of course, games. Games like CyberChud. So immediately I thought to myself, all right, they made a game engine for this? Hold on. So according to their thing, on the 5th anniversary of Terry Davis's death, I released my 4th annual tribute, a Temple OS first cross...
Crunk is not a tranny. He's just a mental social anarchist. He's very weird, but he's not like irony poison. He's a shit poster by heart, and he does things that he finds amusing and doesn't really care if anyone else finds them interesting. But he's not like annoying about it, and that's really hard to explain. Some people are like so over the top about being like a shit poster or whatever that they're just like unsocialized feral retards. Crunk straddles that line very nicely.
Platform software rasterizing 3D rendering engine, featuring skeletal animation, normal mapping, shadow mapping, cube maps, monochromatic renderer for 16-color palletization, Quake BSP support for light baking, and PBS culling. So in this, they've actually released their own fork of the operating system with their specific game. So I wanted to show you how wild this gets, and we're going to fire up a quick virtual machine and actually play CyberChud. So here it is. We're not only just firing it up, but it asks me right here if I want to play CyberChud. So I'm going to hit yes.
Very convenient.
Basically get started on here. And that is, in fact, an actual 3D rendering inside. So right over here, you can see that.
It's very impressive. I don't know what kind of pattern you would call that, but he's demonstrating that the blocks in this are blocking the light source in the middle. So and it's not just that. There's outside light sources, and then there's the inside light source that's obstructed by the 3D objects, and they're casting shadows that eclipse the what do you call it? The lighting that's like omnipresent in the mapping and stuff. It's very, very cool. It's very impressive. It's very hard. It's a lot of trigonometry and bullshit to do something like that.
Option settings, so you can enable FPS graphs, but I'm just going to go hit play and show you, for the record, this is 3D rendering happening in virtual machine software with the Temple OS system. So if you look around, you've got Ryan Gosling on...
Crunk isn't a tranny. I mean, if you disagree, you're dumb. You should read his post history. Yeah, it is a demo scene. That's what they like. If you it's all rendered by CPU. I think. I don't think that it interacts with the GPU at all. I'm pretty sure it's all CPU rendered. I can't imagine that would somehow utilize the. He would somehow be able to write a wrapper that uses NVIDIA or CUDA or whatever the fuck.
The wall, you got some cube lighting. You've actually got real lighting. You've got some anime on the wall here. You've got, again, the frame rate isn't entirely perfect, but I don't expect it to. This is actual Temple OS. And of course, full-on environments, full areas to roam around. And of course, if you go up to actual walls here, you can see that textures, animations, things are occurring, man. I mean, it's got that crazy vaporwave style going in.
Vaporwave, is that what it's called? Is that what he's going for? Let's see.
Okay, here it is. I've got a little chud jack right here. Look at you. You don't even have a gun. What do you think this is? A walking simulator? Worse, it's an engine tech demo. Anyways, here's your obligatory gun. All right, sweet. So I got the actual super shotty over here. And
No.
of course, this Chud can actually go
No!
boom, boom.
He killed the
We're going-
Chud chat.
I love the reload.
Mudo Harwood. Well, that's cool. It's nice to see Crunklord get some appreciation from the broader internet for his hard work. Hopefully that keeps him motivated. He said he had burnout from last year, which I can imagine. He write an entire game engine in like a year. He because his thing was that he wanted to get it done by the 5th anniversary of Terry Davis's death. So he was on like a timeline and he was crunching super hard to get it done. Which is not like I personally disagree that all crunch is bad. Like the trannies of the world don't understand and appreciate crunch. Like there is something to be said about like when I worked my job in Australia, knowing that there were tight deadlines and everyone had to like chip in to get things done was like a huge team building exercise, and it was very rewarding. So I disagree that all crunch is bad, but there has to be like times where it's appropriate and times where it's not. But like I remember there was one thing in particular where something was fucked up and it had to be rewritten from scratch, like in a weekend. I went to a Starbucks and I was on the phone with my counterpart who lived in Canada, and we rewrote one of the most important modules of the entire application, the entire business contingent on over 12 hours together, just on constant communication, like with immediate real-time responding to each other. And I was just sitting in a Starbucks the entire time. I think he was in a coffee shop too, because I remember when we spoke, I could always hear the blender in the background. So we were both just at like a Starbucks. And the funny thing is that they don't ask for rent, because if you buy like a drink, like one of the I got a Trenta ice latte with no no ice, because they downsize your cup. If you ask for a Trenta ice latte or coffee and you say no ice, they downsize you to a venti or whatever. But if you say light ice, you get more coffee and they don't downsize your cup. That's the trick. I don't know if that still works, but it's like an expensive cup of coffee, but if you buy one every day that you work, it's like renting an office basically in terms of expense. So they don't really give you any fuss about it. Yeah, crunch is necessary sometimes, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, that's a weird memory. That was a long time ago. That was a whole, like, that was so long ago. That was basically like being a different person. You know what I mean? That's why when people try to like say like, oh, you said this shit when you were a teenager, it's just so hard to take personally, because it's just like you're criticizing someone who doesn't exist anymore. Like, that person is so dead. That person is so far away from where I am right now and how I think and how I feel about things, that it's just like you're criticizing like some random fucking stranger I don't even know. Okay. Nick DeOrio made a little jab at DarkViperAU, who I haven't spoken about a little bit, but I still barely know who he is. But I'm going to read this because it looks like a big, nice wine, so I'm going to read it. Nick DeOrio, who I'm slowly warming up to. I think he and I should both become fit. I think Nick DeOrio is... Nick is harder to take seriously because he's still, like, super fat. I think that if he lost all that weight, people would take him more seriously. He says, isn't it weird this guy turtles and cries every time he gets criticized, but pokes every few months when he's not in the news? And then it says, why do unhappy losers live for drama? Which I suppose he does have the right to take personally, because it's like, is everybody who comments on drama like unhappy and a loser? He responds to Nick and says, if this is a serious question, let me yap at you for engagement because my PC is broken. So he's typing this out on a phone. When I don't know what it is. I never was a texter as a kid, and I never got into texting as an adult. So posting anything on my phone is the most torturous task you could ever ask of me. I hate using my phone for anything. I basically only check the Kiwi Farms chat and my mail while I'm on the phone, or text messages, but I hate fucking using it. He says, there are no bears with any interest in me. I don't know what the fuck that means. Where did bears get brought up? Did this guy lose to the bear? Is that why he's talking about bears? There have never been. I just keep offending the dregs of this online ecosystem. The whiny drama children. That's you, stalker children. Whiny drama children. Stalker child. Felonious stalker. I do this simply by existing, and rightly, like most creators, thinking them dumb. Those who buy their lies and stupidity are not my audience, but I do sincerely pity them. DarkViperAU pities you, chat. He pities you. Nicholas DiOrio is a grifter. He has openly said that all of what he does is for show. He doesn't actually believe these things. He just knows what a particular audience wants to hear, and he irrationally hates me. It is why he has further stated he hates to be reminded I exist, while also following every utterance I make and tweeting about me literally hundreds of times. I am his obsession. That video has almost no views. He is mentally unwell and projects this on me instead of getting help. When he screen captures these videos and lies about their contents, he similarly knows those who follow him won't watch and don't really care what the truth is, regardless. While Nick's self-hatred has led him to lie nonstop about anyone he believes is better than himself, and often in very creative ways, these videos of mine specifically come from a channel dedicated to my rambles. I will shift from my views on behavioral psychology to the size of my cock. Dude, this guy is a fucking fag. Yes, I ramble. My ponderings are so deep and immense that I have to delegate them to their own special ecosystem for the viewers who need more of what I have to say. The breadth of topics I tackle on these rants range all matters of universe and existence, from deep philosophical diatribes about stoicism to the length of my penis. Okay, so you're so you're a pompous fag. I got you. Could have just said that. Let me summarize this for you. At Nick DiOrio, I am a pompous fag. Fuck you. Got it. And how long it takes to eat soup. Oh, wow. Damn, dude. I don't even have a word for that. Wait. It's like a humble brag that's also just like not impressive at all. So I don't know what to call it. It is largely run by my editors and are not serious videos. They get few views relative to my actual work and are usually ancient by the time they release. They are a side project that just break even monetarily speaking. I tweet in large part to make content for that channel, and I will be reading this into a video for it. Hello, future me. Who the fuck asked? Like, you published a video that says everyone who makes fun of me is an unhappy loser in a roundabout way, and then you're like, yes, my videos are about my cock and soup. Hello, future me. I know that this will make the cut. I really don't like this guy. I don't know anything about him, and I hate him. This shit flinging for content that Nick and his fellow kids need to play for relevancy is a game I can't really win. But yet you have a compulsive need to reply to fucking everything and have the last word. So you're going to play into it like a helpless child regardless. Even when I can't ignore how pathetic it all feels, I usually can't sensibly dedicate enough time to it. Literally everything else I do is more rewarding and thus more worth the time. Even what I know of Nick has been given to me by my mods and viewers and clips and screen captures. That's such a tell. Yes, you're so beneath my notice that I have my goons dispatched to learn more about you so I can spend time pontificating about soup in my own balls. Like, yeah, I'm sure that the henchmen are handling this for you, since you feel the need to point that out so particularly. This is what makes me different from them. I can create things of value, so I don't need to whine or lie for engagement, which is all they have. Can you imagine needing to cry day in, day out about stuff you don't really care about just so other kids will acknowledge your existence? Nothing more sad in this ecosystem. I have found out there is no downside in just laughing at these idiots passively, but I do have stray thoughts about these things, so they end up on that channel. It is neither interesting or calculated, it is just yapping. Welcome to social media, where we can assume Nick is salivating at the idea of tweeting saying, "Oh my god, I can't believe DarkViperAU wrote another essay." I'm giving this boon of acknowledgement he so clearly craves. Him this boon of acknowledgement he so clearly craves, so he can feel like somebody. For just a moment. I feel like these brief moments where he can stop hating himself as much as he hates everyone else are the only thing keeping him alive. I act literally to save a life, even if by the metric that life is not worth saving. I'm just that nice of a person. It feels like I'm like parroting him as I read this. No, this is literally what he wrote. I'm going back to fixing my PC now. That story may also be in my rambles. Hope someone beats this guy. Just roundabout. Like, I'm not inciting anyone to beat him. I'm just saying that if someone did beat the fuck out of him and it ended up on the internet somehow, I would laugh at that. I would play it on stream and I would laugh at it. I am convinced my Starforge PC prompted the current mental breakdown. I mean, I don't know what that means, but... Okay. Atheist debater. Copyright abuser. Oh, fucking... Bring out the guillotine. It goes, guillotine! Anyone filing a DMCA, guillotine! Yeah! Alright, what's this clip?
I'm somewhat of a controversial figure. Those who know me like me. Those who don't.
This guy's voice is very familiar. What did he do? When was the last time I talked about him? Sure. Remember this guy? He's the guy with the autistic Indian accent. Oh my god, the Australian Indian. Yeah. What was his scandal? Everyone's just going, it goes in chat. Oh, the Among Us guy. Oh my god, that's right. He said something offensive in Among Us and everyone brings it up to him and he's like crying about it. He's like, no, you don't understand. And his like excuse was like not an excuse at all. He's like, I know I told that little kid to go kill himself, but you don't understand. I was very mad. Well, that doesn't work as an excuse, just so you know. Ask me how I know that. That is his skin. Okay, hold up. Let me find this on YouTube real quick. I think if I just type in DarkViperAU. Oh, Rage is one of the top things. Rage. Where's that Among Us? This mentally scarring death threats from the GTA 5 No Damage Challenge compilation. That's from his channel. I want to see DarkViperAU Among Us. Oh, here we go.
Halo just runs around the entire fucking map to come to O2. And I'm like, I had nothing to say. I was literally speechless. I did not speak that entire time because I was so confused why we were starting the game. I have never been this mad at a person in the entirety of my life.
I apologize. I'm still a little new at the game.
If you don't even know how to win the game, why are you playing?
I do. I'm just sorry. I make.
He's literally that upset over Among Us. That's pretty incredible. If you don't even know how to be a real person, why are you on social media commenting on my existence? Incredible. Keep it up. Imagine getting trolled by Nick Doria. That's pretty amazing. I mentioned for Affinity last stream because I mentioned Dragoneer the prior stream, and in the time between those streams, Dragoneer, the owner for Affinity, had the good grace and sensibility to die, and now the community, which is the second largest furry community behind only like porn sites, I think. I forget, there was another one that they were comparing. I think it is the porn sites though. Anyways, he's dead, and now the other people are trying to figure out what the fuck to do. So they're asking the Fur Affinity community to finance, I think that's at least $60,000? No. That's like 75,000. Let's add them up. Let me bring up a calculator real quick. So they want for the website for Affinity $27,000 to pay off Dragoneer's medical expenses. $20,000 to deal with the legal fees associated with for Affinity, because they're trying to figure out how to legalize the ownership transition, and apparently that has to be officiated by a $20,000 attorney. 47,000 plus 17,000 for 6 months mortgage on Dragoneer's house, so Rita has time to sort things. Oh, I'm sorry. 17,000 was for balance due to Imvu for FA's buyback. So I didn't know that. I thought that Dragoneer had bought for Affinity from Imvu or Imvu or whatever in cash, but no, he still owes $17,000 on that. So they have just made a killing off of him. $12,600 for 6 months mortgage on Dragoneer's house. So we take 12,600, divide that by 6. That's 2,100. That's not too bad for a mortgage, I guess. But why that has anything to do with Fur Affinity, I don't know. They're just asking them to foot the bill on his poor finances. An $8,000 public celebration of life, and that's estimated, so that could be higher. $3,000 for the medical examiner and cremation. $1,000 for an urn? Are you fucking dude? Come on. They put Bu in like a toilet bowl for like $30, and then just like carve the name Kirk Grinder onto it. I'm pretty sure you don't need a $1,000 urn. You gotta go to Shenzhen and get that shit for cheap. They got that stuff on standby for like $1. And then another $1,000 for Rita's travel costs. I don't know where the fuck Rita is going, considering we're also paying for his mortgage, but he's going somewhere. And then triple parentheses for IRS, unknown total cost at this time. So somebody hasn't paid the IRS. They don't know how much they owe the IRS, and they approximate between $0 and infinity dollars owed to the IRS. In regards to back taxes, either on behalf of... Dragoneer's fucking dead, so it can't be his. I assume they mean the business hasn't paid tax. They probably discovered, going through his documents, that Dragoneer has probably never paid taxes for the corporation that owns Fur Affinity. And now they're going to have to pay... I bet you, by the way, that $20,000 includes paying a business attorney to calculate 15 years of back filings for the company and figuring out how much they owe the IRS, because Dragoneer has never paid it in his life. I guarantee you that $20,000 for sure includes some tax accounting that has never happened. And he's probably literally charging them like $1,000 per year or something like that, just to go back and backfile everything and get the corporation back in good standing. That's definitely what that is. So there you go. Interesting. I wonder what happens if the company goes into default to the IRS and the guy that owned it that didn't pay the taxes is dead. They might just do a debt forgiveness thing. Like, you can pay us back like 10% of what hasn't been paid over those years, because it's worth more to the IRS just to have the company up and on some kind of payment plan that makes sense. I guarantee you that they're going to get away with that shit. They're just going to, once the filing is done, they said, well, the guy that owned it previously and didn't do any work died. What's the IRS going to do? Okay, we'll shut down your furry goon site then. No, they're going to say, okay, you can pay us back like 5% of that over the next 3 years. Look on the bright side, Josh. At least you don't ever have to pay taxes on Kiwi Farms. I have to pay taxes. I file at least. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I have to sort out all that shit, because now that I'm actually making money, and getting a bank account's hard. So thanks to Old Glory, I actually have bank accounts, and I'm starting to be able to delineate my finances and shit. It's a mess though. It's a big pain in the ass. It's not easy. But if you have a traditional business, you have no excuse. Like, you set up an LLC, open a bank account for it. Easiest thing in the fucking world. The companies do it for you these days. Okay, so this is like a weird drama thing that is being fomented on the forum, but I don't know anything about it. It's on page 60 already. This guy called Nitsua Zephyr, apparently, at True Perpetuality, who's like a retard furry, who's like a friend of like this lolicon retard furry, made a public statement on Zitter saying, expect a big school shooting soon, gonna be bad, God is mad, I am just saying, I guess this is what it takes. I want to remind everybody that me saying I can't wait for the boomers to drop dead from old age is something that has not allowed my Zitter account to come back. But this pedophile-adjacent furry retard is able to threaten to kill children, and I believe that their account is probably just fine. Let's take a look real quick. Oh yeah, not only is the account up for this brony retard, but the actual tweet where he's threatening to shoot up a school is up. So, shooting up a school, that's fine. Saying, I can't wait for the boomers to drop dead. Elon says, nope, can't do that. And then there's this call that is between ghosts. And I'll tell you about ghosts in just a second.
Honest shit like what? I mean, you obviously pushed a boundary when it came to what is deemed maybe the borderline of pedophilia or whatever. Because why else would fucking these people from from kiwi farms go after you in such aggressive fashion?
Well, here's the history behind kiwi farms, because it's originally just designed to attack people or like document people that are considered.
I'm very well aware of what kiwi farms is, dude.
It just became like a sort of thing where it's just like, oh, this person's a pedo, go attack him. And that's what it's come now.
Yeah, that's why, I have to ask once again, dude. I mean, it started, with this community because, you were kind of being a little edgy here. And I just don't understand. I mean, your family isn't the best, but at the same time, it isn't the worst. And, you're a fairly articulate.
I'll cut it off there. It's basically, I'll put it like this. This call with Peppermint Swirl, who's like a brony lolicon defender or whatever the fuck he is on with Ghost talking about his drama. And I'll phrase it like this. Imagine the call between Medicare and Ross, Bathtub Ross. But instead of Medicare, it's Ghost. And instead of just them, there's like a couple more yes men around Ghost who are really annoying and add absolutely nothing. So it's like the Bathtub Ross call, but less good. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. I have a long history with Ghost. He is the first lolcow that I ever paid attention to. I listened. I had like a huge playlist of all his radio graffitis years before I operated the Kiwi Farms. Before I even got into Christian, and being interested in like this Ghost True Capitalist Radio guy is what eventually got me interested in the Wikipedia. So he was he's also sort of like a troll like Jace was. But the original radio graffitis are like a work of art. They're just amazing. He disappeared for a long time and came back. And when he came back, he sort of embraced like the super chat culture. And his culture with like his trolls now, like his trolls in air quotes, is like really weird and not entertaining like it was back when people didn't know that he was kind of fucking around. We had a board for him, but we closed it due to lack of interest. By the way, I saw this. Is Josh ready to play Chain Together with DSP? I don't know how that would work out. I assume it's like a co-op puzzle game. That's what it sounds like. Maybe. I don't know. I will not commit to anything. And yes, figure out Signal. Surprising, believe it or not, Signal is not just the application that Nick Rekieta uses to harass people. It actually has legitimate use. Surprise. I remember listening to them, and Andy and PPP were like, he's using like this special secret burn on reading messenger app that only degenerate weirdos use to talk to each other. And I'm like, I talk to all of my friends and my attorney exclusively through Signal. Believe it or not, Canadians, in the United States, we have something we have enshrined in the Constitution from the Bill of Rights, which is a divinely ordained document, written with the assistance of God himself. Our Constitution is. We have a right to privacy. And so some people choose to use Signal who are not bizarre polycule weirdos strapped to a St. Andrew's cross. The sour message network, yeah, basically. At least when it comes to Rekieta. When if I'm laying in bed or something and I get woken up or I'm like stirred from my sleep by like a Rekieta text, I'm just like, oh fuck, here we go again. It's literally exactly like CJ from San Andreas. I'm like, ah fuck, here we go again. Motherfucker got some piss and vinegar in him for some stupid shit he saw on the forum. One more time. Another time. I can't wait to hear about what dumb shit he's upset about now. Cool. I think that's it for all the locale stuff. We actually have... We're 2 hours in, but I have Rekieta himself. And then we got a little teensy, tiny, insignificant Bossman update, just for funsies. First, let's start with Lord Baldo. He was on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, and he was taking issues with people commenting on his case. So he decided to respond as he does. Le Banquebert says, does this make sense or am I missing something? It seems that if you are making your lawyer's job harder, then your lawyer would just quit. Or does that lawyer not care that Nick is apparently making himself look bad, as most of you guys are saying? It seems unethical. This is a comment in regards to Rekieta objecting himself in court against the advice of his attorney, who was appointed to him in his child custody case. And then he dismissed that attorney and hired his attorney from his cocaine case as his child custody case attorney as well. So people were discussing the objection and if it was a farcical objection or whatever. And Rekieta responds and says, the thing you're missing is that lawyer representing me at that hearing is a walking malpractice factory. Why do you think the county loves having her appointed in virtually every child protection case? So in that statement, he is alleging that Kandiyohi County knowingly appoints a walking malpractice factory, an incompetent attorney, to indignant defendants in child protective custody cases, specifically to try and deprive them of rights via competent counsel and presumably take away their children, which is just another layer of this grand conspiracy against him, apparently. Potentially criminal, Sean, says, my whole point about Nick's critique is that he admits he has no experience in this area regarding child custody. He has relatively no experience in a courtroom, and his logic is going to be clouded due to his emotional investment. That's why his attorney was there. They can think clearly. He can't. And this is true. I know for a fact that even if attorneys get in trouble, they have attorneys, because that attorney, like when you are involved in something, especially when it comes to law, you get like this tunnel vision. You start reading things and looking at statutes, and you hone in on what looks like your lifeline, and you start going, this is it. I'm going to file, and I'm going to really hammer this point, and I'm going to get what I want. But then in doing so, you really miss the forest for the trees, and you end up fucking up. You miss important procedural things, and you overlook important things that you should have filed a defense for, and so on and so forth. And that's where an attorney helps you a lot. And the other thing with an attorney is that if you represent yourself, when you have an attorney and that attorney says things, that attorney's words can't be used against you. But if you represent yourself, then what you say in your own defense can be used against you. It's kind of like taking the stand. That's why people don't take the stand, because you can be fucked with. But if you represent yourself, then you're always basically on stand, and everything that you say is used against you. So there's reasons why you have an attorney, even as an attorney, in a criminal case. Rekieta says, Sean is talking out of his ass. Generally, those were bad lawyers. They knew literally nothing about us or our case. Can't wait to fully talk about all of this. Someone named Scott Jonesy asks, Sean is a practicing, spelled British, Britoid detected, Angloid detected, says Sean is a practicing lawyer who isn't up on his felony for having an ongoing CPS situation. He's also not got debt collectors after him. XX. That's a very British thing, saying kiss kiss at the end, you mother weirdo. Rekieta says Sean is a practicing lawyer in a different jurisdiction with different rules, talking about practice area that is not his main expertise. So this is Le Boncaber again saying, Law Tushim, I'm watching you talk about Nick's issues with his attorneys not returning his calls and leaving him out in the cold without an advocate. You mentioned how his lawyers know he's a druggie and how bad of a parent he is, etc. I have a question. Sean says, my whole point about Nick's critique is that he admits he has no experience in this area. He has relatively no experience in the courtroom, and his logic is going to be clouded. I read that. Rekieta replies and says, yeah, I'm familiar with the rules of evidence, Sean. Amazingly, my attorney was not. She didn't know the rules of completeness even existed. No, I'm not kidding. She had numerous hearsay objections, surprise, and other legal avenues such as continuous, etc. She had no thoughts. You don't know the situation at all because it isn't shaped like a sandwich. Call him fat. Okay, so the whole thing, he was upset because in the child protective case, there was a Health and Human Services person on the stand. She said something that was hearsay. Hearsay is she heard something and she repeats it. So she heard something and she said that she heard something, and that's hearsay, and that's generally inadmissible in court. You can't testify that you heard somebody say something. That is not considered a reliable testimony. So if someone was on the stand and you're like, how did you know that Sean was eating a sandwich on August the 14th? And he said, well, I heard from Nick Rekieta that he was eating. Objection, hearsay, you can't say that. And then they said, nope, you can't testify that you heard somebody say something. So you would say, well, I don't know them. However, chat, there's an objection to what Rekieta is saying. I have it on good authority from a practicing attorney in the state of Minnesota that Rekieta actually doesn't know the rules of evidence in Minnesota. See, child custody cases exist in a special dimension that rules don't apply evenly in. And there is a relaxed standard of evidence that applies in these cases. And guess what? Hearsay is admissible in a child protective custody case, which is why the lawyer didn't object to hearsay, because when the hearsay comes from a reputable person, such as a Health and Human Services employee, it's allowed in the court. And that's what the judge apparently told him to his fucking face when he objected to it in the transcripts, and said that actually this testimony is permissible. And surprise, surprise, his lawyer knew that, and he didn't, and he looked like a fucking retard. And even now on Twitter, he apparently doesn't know that his objection was overruled because the standard of evidence in child cases is different than the standard of evidence in criminal cases. Sucks to suck. Let me put it up on the big screen. Josh, I love you. Let's have a shower talk. No. That's way back in the history. This retard is still trying to argue his way out of being a loser, basically. He's trying to argue his way out of a lot. And he doesn't understand that you can't just convince people on the internet and win. That's not how it works. There's one other thing related to Rekieta. Chat, I'm famous on the internet again. Fox9, KMSP, Kiwi Farms founder argues for camera in courtroom for Nick Rekieta's case. Published by the Fox 9 staff, August 12th, 2024. Minneapolis, Fox 9. The founder of stalking website Kiwi Farms filed motions last week asking a judge to broadcast future criminal proceedings against popular YouTube attorney Nick Rekieta. What do we know? An attorney for Joshua Moon, who goes online by his username Noel, filed several documents last week fighting for hearings again and the trial against Rekieta to be streamed. In the filings, Moon's attorney argued that there's a lot of online interest in the case and pointed to the fact that Rekieta has made a living analyzing trial live streams. Rekieta said last week during a stream on his YouTube channel that Moon had also pushed for the release of other documents and body camera video of the arrest. Seems like there's a lot of interest in this case, chat. If only there was some way to get rumors regarding it dispelled. If only there was a competent authority in Kandiyohi County that had access to certain audiovisual effects that might help the general public regain some confidence in the legal system, chat. Even Fox 9 in Minneapolis agrees. This other shit's just like recap of what we already know. I wrote them, by the way. I wonder if I got an update. Do I have an update? I wrote them and I said... Nope, still says stalking website. I said I took issue with it being called a stalking website because that doesn't make any fucking sense. How does a website stalk people? It also implies that everybody on the forum is criminal, which is obviously not the case. And I asked them to explain something for me in the article, and they did not. Shame, chat. Shame on Fox 9, KMSP from Minneapolis. They failed. They failed the public in their reporting, is how I'll say that. Shameful. Okay. Next. Bossman. I have a video of Bossman eating sketty. Let's see what happens here.
Damn, I want seconds on that spaghetti, bro. Bro!
Yo, you got that piece ready for me? The cheese piece?
Guys, guess what I just did? I just started eating out of my old bowl of spaghetti. I was wondering why it was cold. And then I looked to my left and there's a whole plate of spaghetti, fresh spaghetti right here. What the fuck, dude? How do I do that? How do I even do that? That's not weird. What? I started eating, I was like, dude, this doesn't even taste that good. And if I can put the bowl down, look to the left, and there's my plate of spaghetti. I don't know. Crazy.
So let me recap in case you're confused. Bossman Jack received a plate of lovingly cooked homemade spaghetti for him to eat. He set this bowl of spaghetti on his desk and played Counter-Strike Go as he does. He then reached for the nearest plate of spaghetti because he was hungry. His tummy rumbled and he desired to fill it with food. And in the process, he ate cold spaghetti. And then he said at the end, "Damn, that wasn't enough food. I wish I had more spaghetti." He looks to his left, and like a Lovecraftian horror, spaghetti was on the table, ready to be eaten, hot and fresh and ready, much like your mother. Leaving him with the horrific realization that he had eaten leftovers on his table that has been sitting there for God knows how fucking long, and that he had eaten it. He had eaten the cold, stale spaghetti already sitting there and didn't even notice. Truly Lovecraftian. There's also an update that doesn't require a video. One of the top rats who basically Bossman Jack is like YouTube slop. So like people clip him and post the updates on YouTube to make money off of him. Kind of like the DSP A-logs do. Kind of like the Wings of Redemption A-logs did. And one of them was by a guy called Luffy, who has archived his Discord channel. And the reason why he did this is because he got doxxed. And to spare you the details, apparently, I don't know this for sure, but this was the rumor, is that his Discord or he personally was involved in calling or swatting like a bunch of people or doing like health checks on people. A lot of people fucking hated him because he was doing this and fucking with people. And the second that he got ID'd, he just bails because, you know, he's allegedly up to not so legal things. And then the chat in the other Discords related to Bossman Jack, one guy put out this banger. Let me find it. So I've talked about this on the stream as a tragedy that has hurt the internet and its health. And the Void Beckons puts out this absolute 10 million IQ take Discord has replaced the requirement of a forum to exist. Forums today exist as a breeding ground of hate. It is quite cringe. This docile cattle relishes in the chains around him. Yes, Daddy Discord, please tell me everything I am and am not allowed to say. Please centralize all of my social services to a single account so I never break your TOS out of fear of losing absolutely everybody I've ever made contact with. I relish my bondage. I relish being your slave, Tencent. I am owned, and I am happy to be owned. He looks upon the bearded, mustachioed face of Big Brother, and he falls to his knees with tears in his eyes, for he truly loves Discord. And then he has the fucking audacity to look at a Kiwi Farms and say, these traditional web forums are merely a breeding ground of hatred. Really, bro? You think that the open forum that everybody can fucking read, including law enforcement, including your mom, DTPN, and everybody on the whole fucking internet, with all the sunlight and all the visibility that it gives, is going to breed more hate than these closed-off, incestuous little cysts on the ass of Tencent called Discord? You think that that is the more dangerous apparatus? Not these little channels where little girls are getting groomed and extorted into taking nudes? You think that the Kiwi Farms, with everything completely fucking public, is the bigger threat? People are fucking stupid. Chat. Okay. I have a Reddit segment, and then I have super chats, and then I have a very special outro song picked out in honor of Susan Wojcicki. Press Ask Chat as I read our Reddit segment. This is an R Ban Pitbulls from Appropriate Mood 4259. He asks, how to refute racial crime statistics argument. This has 69 upvotes and 34 comments. He says, I keep hearing people argue that if we want to ban pit bulls because they cause the overwhelming majority of dog attacks, despite being only 6% of the dog population, that we should also ban black people because they claim black people commit the most crimes. I looked this up. It isn't even true, LOL. White people commit the majority of crimes, which makes sense considering white people are the majority in the West. Even so, they'd probably argue that we should ban white people then. I've tried to explain to them that human races do not equal dog breeds, and that humans were never selectively bred for aggression and unpredictability like pit bulls were. If anyone has any ideas of what you say, please let them know. Thanks. Fun fact. Humans between the different races are more genetically diverse than pit bulls are from other breeds of dog. This is true, by the way. Also, Appropriate Mood 4259, like most other midwits and low intelligence people, are unable, mentally, completely, and totally incapable of grasping the concept of per capita, which is the... You ever seen those memes where they're like, what we should do with fat people is put them in a coliseum where all the exits are like normal size so that fat people can't fit through them? Per capita and understanding what the fuck that means and how that applies to statistics is like the normal sized person door in the fat people coliseum. Like, dumb people just are unable to pass through this threshold that exists specifically to filter their dumbasses out. Let's see what the replies are to this chat. We got some screen caps here. Ask them why are they comparing black people to dogs. That's pretty racist. But seriously, they don't know the difference between human races and dog breeds that have been specially developed by humans for certain traits. They are not worth arguing with anyways. More likely, they are using that argument disingenuously to distract from the facts about their dangerous blood sport dog breed. Fun Anything 4386 says, black people in the U.S. are also subjected to over-policing that skews those crime statistics. Pit bulls, in contrast, are not more heavily scrutinized than other dog breeds because of bigotry. If anything, their disproportionate propensity for violence is underreported. It is an argument that is as offensive as it is stupid. Banana-based, hashtag survivor of severe pit bull attack. I think I know many people who could Have that survivor tag for other types of attacks. Says, exactly. Trying to compare a certain group of people to a breed of dog that was specifically bred for aggression is incredibly racist. This is Ali123, or this is Ali123, says, every time I've replied to someone saying, are you comparing me to a dog? They delete the comment or block me, so it seems to have worked a little. It's hard to pretend to care about racism when a black person calls you out for comparing us to violent blood sport dogs, lol. Flat for horror 22. That's an awful fucking name. Zero respect for herself. Ha! Love to hear it. They're the type that if they did answer back, they would be like, no, I am not racist. I have black friends. Oh, very insightful. Reddit's so fucking insightful. These people are geniuses. You know, we killed the blacks that could read during slavery. They were caught reading. They got hanged. Does that count for anything? Does that indicate anything regarding blood sport and selective breeding? Probably not. Love is love, chat. We're all one race, the human race. All right, let's do some super chats. And then I got my special outro song that I'm sure everyone will appreciate and should stick around for. All right, let's see if this works. Yes, I fixed the issue where the messages disappear in history. So now I can go through the entire thing and actually read them. Cool. Good luck 7 for 2 says, glad you were a little late. I had to stay over at work and it worked out great. I was not late. I had the times wrong because the time zone on my browser is always different from my computer and shit. So it's really hard to figure out what is at the time. Dewanko for 5 says, hey, yup, lad. Seeing as though you ate us, I really appreciate you featuring the Fred on us Britoids. Must have been hard, and it is the 5 for your trouble. Get yourself a nice kebab, mate. Ta. I appreciate it. Stay safe. Don't get arrested or be careful where you send your money. If there's anything, like, you can use the Tor hidden service, but you can't avoid a financial crime investigation. Probably not. Thank you. Thank you for risking arrest, risking your life and limb to give me $5 dues. I appreciate it. Space Allen for 20 says, Ham Jam. Thank you, Space Allen. I appreciate it. Ballistic Characteristic for 20 says, happy anniversary of B-Jams. Ah! Where does he get his money from? That's so weird. It was like an AI. I think someone fed all the Kino Casino through Chat GPT, and that's what it came up with. It was pretty funny, though. Tetrabacks for $300 says, please pay respects to King Terry. Press F in chat. I did, hopefully. Crunklord did all the legwork, though. The auteur that he is. Thank you very much. 11th Circuit for 2 says, this is an actual drop-down list for gender selection form at a legit federal form I had to file. And then there is a Catbox file. Let's bring it up. I mean, I know that they're fucking crazy. What the fuck? Female impersonator, male impersonator. Dude, that has to be like an ESL thing. Like they have their own word for like male and female presenting person, and then they ran that through like a translator book from like the 1990s, and it says like, oh, well, it's kind of like impersonator is like the closest English word. Like that has to be like a translation error, like from Japan or something. That's pretty funny though. Coco for 6 says, please read 6 or 9 through 11. Reminds me of that tragedy. It does. I think a lot of people will be reminded of a tragedy when I read this. Slowly opening. Okay. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions appeared above me. I fell down and saw a vision of punishment, and I might relate it to the sons of heaven and reprove them. When I woke, I went to them, all being collected, stood weeping in Ubal Salael, which is situated between Libanos and Sennassir, with the faces veiled. I related to their presence all the visions which I had seen and my dream, and began to utter these words of righteousness, reproving the watchers of heaven. Okay. Anime Extremist for 5 says, you talked previously about all the memes from Hurricane Katrina and Bush Jr. administration. Well, here's a banger that I think we can all get behind. Bro, it's $10 for a YouTube video. I'll play this because I guess it might be funny. It's short. Let's see. Sign in to confirm your age, but it says, go fuck yourself, Mr. Cheney. That was a very, very, very common sentiment during the Bush administration. An administration that everybody hated but got elected twice somehow. Kurt Eichenwald, anime masturbator for 5 says, glorious, Kiwi Emperor, I simply cannot forgive myself. A few streams ago, I made the mistake of typing internet with a lowercase I. I tried seppuku, but my sonikos kept getting stuck in my fat rolls. It sounds like a great personal tragedy. You gotta try, when the Japanese commit suicide, don't they usually write like a poem first? It's like a death haiku or something. Maybe you should try that. I expect a death haiku super chat. Lucifer 210 for 1 says, a person who thinks all the time but has nothing to think except thoughts. So he loses touch with reality and lives in a different world of illusions. That's in regards to DarkViperAU, I think. Yeah, I mean, I just call him a fucking loser. That's my word for it. Red Eyes Black Dragon for 5 says, rip to Rachel Lillis, the English voice actress that voiced Misty from Pokemon. Fuck anime fags that prefer the squeaky Jap voices to superb English voices. Also, fuck Susan Wojcicki. I agree. Dubs are superior to subs because you don't have to listen to fucking grating ass. I mean, the issue with dubs for cartoons is that, like, now you're listening to some fucking weeaboo speak instead, and they're still doing like a retarded anime voice. But do fuck Susan Wojcicki, she sucks. Let's fair 210 for 1 says, I'm not saying that thinking is bad. Like everything else, it's useful in moderation. A good servant, but a bad master. Lucifer for 210 says, and all so-called civilized peoples have increasingly become crazy and self-destructive because through excessive thinking they have lost touch with reality. Lucifer 210 says, we're tied up in our minds and we've lost our senses and realize that the air stinks with the taste of chlorine and the human landscape looks like a trash heap and much of our food tastes like plastic. And good luck. 7 says, 2 for 2, fuck the British constables. Yes, now that is a super chat. Quick, to the point. I like it. Thank you. Kiwi Friend for 1 says, hey, Chief Janny Jersh, sorry for the $1. Money is tight. Thanks, Joe Obama. Friends and I are thinking about making a website that shuffles cards. Any idea how to start? None of us know how to code. LTC. If you're talking about like regular 52 card playing cards, like that's like a programming 101. If you just go to Google Gemini and you type in write me a JavaScript thing for shuffling a deck of cards, you'll probably get like actual usable code right off the bat. It should be the easiest thing in the world. Dr. for 5 says, I want to start selling Faraday cage phone cases. I think that would defeat the purpose. The Lion King for 1 says, train to Bahamas, please. I don't know what that means. No, we're going to put up battle cruisers in the Caribbean. We're going to deport all the black people there so they can continue to farm sugarcane or whatever the fuck you guys do in the Bahamas. And anyone trying to swim across with a boat or whatever just gets blown the fuck up. Baldo Pagans for 5 says, all these rumors of Kandiyohi County cops planting drugs at Recadas has me pretty shook. Going to need some serious evidence to restore my faith in the system, preferably of an audiovisual variety. I totally agree. I've never been so shook in the justice system before. I don't know what to think. I feel like all the cops are evil and corrupt and they'll plant cocaine in my room if they don't like me. If only there was some way to dispel that, though. The Lion King for 1 says, be jamamas. Lion King for 1 says, I drink cheap liquor in honor of your drunkenness juice. I'm not drunk. Black Spruce 777 for 5 says, we have a town called Dildo in Newfoundland. It's a pretty popular destination for tourists, mainly so they can stand next to the sign and take selfies. I would rather go to Hell, Michigan than Dildo, Newfoundland, because then I wouldn't have to go to Canada. In the U.S., they would just steal the signs. We can no longer have 420 mile markers anymore. They do like 420. They make like 419.9 mile markers because all the 420 ones get stolen by fucking potheads. Longboarder 241 for 5 says, do you see the iFunniers decided to hold ransom linked data from the app? No, I did not see that. That sounds funny, though. You should write a post about it. Shala Shashka for 5 says, hey, Josh. Hey, Shala Shashka. Shala Shashka for 2 says, I didn't think Aaron would just submit my dono. Anyways, I've been watching Terry Davis archives for nostalgia's sakes and wonder, what's your favorite Terry clip? The herd, where he's doing the whip thing. That's like peak. I think about that all the time because I look at people and how they react to situations, and I just think, damn, you're just docile fucking neighbor cattle. You're so fucking peaceful and obedient. You just fucking sit there and shit and eat and make other people rich because you're so fucking docile. And I also like how he's in that rant and he's just like frothing with hatred for these people. You know exactly what he's talking about. And then words start to escape him. He doesn't even know how to further cement his detest in English words. So he just starts fucking whipping and goes, gotta hurt a neighbor cattle. Gotta hurt a neighbor cattle. I understand. I understand what it's like to lose language in your hatred of something. TB Deluxe for 2 says, Josh, no thinking, 5-second time limit, favorite South Park episode, go. Pink Eye. Pink Eye Season 1, the Halloween special is my favorite episode of all of South Park. My second favorite is You're Getting Old, which I did a Gumroad video of. Drewby82 for 2 says, Evening Josh, what is your favorite pasta shape? That's an interesting question. I kind of like bow tie. Bow tie is pretty good. You want to increase that surface area so that when it's all lathered up in pesto, you get to like taste all of it. That's the important bit. Kiwi Friend for 1 says, Jersh, you need a memory TV logo in the top right for the Islam hamster's picture. Feel free to add it, I guess. Good Luck 7 for 1 says, bro, I asked like a month, what is the name to that nasheed? I need it to do some in-real trolling. Someone asked in the Man at the Internet thread just recently, and there was a YouTube video posted to like a music channel. I think it's a Hamas nasheed, but I don't know if it's like a... I think it's on YouTube, though, if you go look for it. It's in the thread very recently. Third World Aristocrat for 1 says, why are we streaming my SSN to 3K viewers? Because, sir, FDR. That's why. David S877 for 25 says, have you ever reviewed a movie that you did like? No, I've never done a movie review of a movie I did like. Because I'm not really, I don't know. There's not a lot of movies that I really like. I like Fight Club. But I don't think a movie about Fight Club would be very interesting. Fight Club is very, very inspirational. Fight Club is a perfect movie. But it has one flaw. And it has only one flaw. And Fight Club's only flaw is that the Tyler Durden is trying to explain to the narrator that self-improvement is masturbation, but self-destruction. He doesn't say what it is, but he implies that it's better or it has some sort of innate quality to it. But before that, he points to a picture, and this is in the book, by the way. I've read some of the book. He points to a picture of a Calvin Klein ad of a male model in underwear. And he asks, is that what a man looks like? And they both laugh because he's like a pretty boy. Like, sure, he's, attractive, conventionally attractive, but like, is being a Calvin Klein sculpted man in underwear like what being a man is? Is that what a man is? Like on an existential level. Like, is that all that a man is being attractive? And the narrator laughs at this. And this is the only flaw in the movie because the person saying, is that what a man is, pointing at this ad, is Brad Pitt, one of the most conventionally attractive men that has ever existed, who is like the boy toy of like every woman who was of age at the time that he was at his peak in the 90s. So that's and it's only a casting issue. The point still makes sense, but Brad Pitt saying it is like fucking ridiculous because it's a bit hypocritical. Good Luck 7 for 2 says, my neighbor's dog Max died the other day, and I just now found out. Rip, little dude, may he be immortalized in this stream. Well, that's sad. I'm sorry to hear that your neighbor's dog has died. That's a very weird thing to super chat about, but if you insist. Hamburger for 2 says, no, stalker child, I will not fuck you correctly. There's an expected margin of error in fornication. You will endure my horny system failures. Enjoy prison, corpulator. No, I will not, chat. Tetrabax for 20 says, the most ideal moderator is so much of an observer that they would never want to moderate. Yes, that's true. That's why I only inflict moderation on people as opposed to asking for applications. Anime Sucks Cope in Sneed for 5, and he's decided to make his picture on his avatar on Rumble into a picture of himself, which I am refusing to show on stream. So to get around that, he has made that his picture so that I would show it on stream. But to counter this, I will simply not show his chat on screen so he doesn't get that satisfaction. It says, God, dude, I'm unironically mad the furries gave more than was asked for. The stupid freaking GoFundMe for that dead zoophile cub for shielding asshole. The wrong people win in life. Chat. Frowny face. I'm surprised they made it, honestly. They must be hoping that the new guys are going to, like, fix things, but they're probably going to be lazy grifting retards, too. Valkser for 2 says, what would you rather move to the UK permanently or let Keffels give you a nosh? Define nosh. A snack or light meal. Oh, fellatio is the third definition. I'm not answering that. Oh wait, no, fuck, I showed it. Anime Sex Copen Sneed for 5 says, Josh, if you can teach me to code and give me money to buy for Affinity, I'll make for Affinity profitable and split the profit 70-30 my way. No. Tetrabax for $50 says, how did the Ruthless Eve space drama autism turn into this autism hug box? The space station is not Eve online. It's a completely different game. And it's because it's a roleplay based game and people most attracted to roleplay are like mentally fucking ill. Medium roleplay was the most enjoyable because you have to like vaguely remain in character, but you can be funny and talk about stuff and not get instantly banned for breaking character or whatever the fuck. The Lion King for 1 says, Peter Muskrat, dumbass, I don't know what the fuck that means. No hurt, Mr. Metal for 2 says, just clean up the mold from the outside kitchen, still winning over Politburo Keffels and the hog Ralph Amal. Suffered chat. Yeah, I mean, everyone who's not Keffels or Ralph is winning over them, I suppose. It's pretty hard to fuck up your life worse than they did. Does your penis work? Do you not have 2 bastard children? Congratulations. Are you not exiled to Mexico? Brown Boy Soup for 10 says, neighbors on the port bow, me boys. Oh, this must be it. Fuck yeah. Let's see. Here we go.
There's a nigger on the port bow!
Oh, wait. Here, let me restart it.
Me hearties, there's a nigger on the port bow! Then the Catholics blast the nigger! Yeah, they're getting aboard their...
Oh, no.
You're chop their head off with their cutlasses! Beat them to the fucking charge! Peter Muskrat Army, and we fucking obliterate niggers! We're the Peter Muskrat Legion, and we chew through a nigger's brain like it's a log of wood! We use niggers' limbs to make it damn! Nigger!
The vocalization at the end, it's so heartfelt. It's amazing. Dude, imagine being on a platform like Twitch and having your livelihood tied to that. And if anyone manages to troll you and sneak it onto your stream and say something that's against Twitch TOS, you're just banned immediately. I'd rather be fucking dead than be holding the shit like that. Lucifero 210 for 1 says, remember that Ralph would call Milo Massa Milo. Please, Massa. I'm sorry I snaked Fuentes. Please give me a child from Allie's private stock, Massa. I actually don't remember that. I don't know why I don't remember that. I heard PPP and Andy Worski talking about that, and I believe them because Andy Worski is like such a vestigial remnant from the internet that he's been around for everything for some reason. I don't remember the Massa Milo, though. Maybe I blotted that from my memory because it's so fucking embarrassing. Champa Ralph for 5 says, if you were forced to press a reset button and go back in time and be any profession other than a farmer or programmer, what profession would you pick? Do you mean like other than the kiwi farmer or like farming in general? Metallurgy. I would want to know how to weld things and how to use chemistry to separate electrum into silver and gold. That's what I'm doing. It's a real job, and that's what I'm going to figure out. Crocodile for 5 says, arg, there be I have to do a pirate voice. Arg, there be melanated individuals board in my ship. It hurts my voice to do. Ow. Oh my god, my throat's like all fucked up now. It feels weird. Purple Teriyaki for 5 says, sorry, American stalkers, you have no free speech on the uppercase I internets. You will be extradited and enjoy prison. Yeah, right. Nice try, guy. Why is there a spammer in my chat that's always spamming about rabbis? What the fuck is that? Is it literally a rabbi trying? And it even tries to do a text-to-speech thing. That's so weird. It's like a Jewish rabbi trying to spam chats to get people into his Discord. It's fucking bizarre. No hurt, Mr. Metal, for once. His stalker child enjoying your Twitter ban. Don't you know you're a right wing Nazi fascist that likes anime? Enjoy tranny dick in the U.S. Stalker child. I will get my account back. Sneedo for once. Says Sneed. Thank you, Sneedo. Catcherbacks for 10 says it's pretty hard. It is to be weird, but pretend to be normal enough to not be off-putting to actual normal people. I've always been good at blending in person. I've never had to train myself. I've always just managed somehow to trick like a chameleon. Like nobody knows. I'm standing in the corner of the party and I'm drinking non-alcoholic beverage, thinking nobody knows I'm a weirdo. Porglack for 5 says, I've been in the woods with boomer liberals types without internet for a week. Can you say something incredibly based?
Fucking sharks! We're the Peter Muskrat Army and we fucking obliterate niggers. We're the Peter Muskrat Legion and we chew through a nigger's brain like it's a log of wood. We use niggers' limbs to make it damn. Nigger!
Obviously, Chad, I don't condone violence. Peter Muskrat's going over the line there. Enjoy. I hope I've satiated your lust. Blurp Bloop for one says, God blesses his servant Crunklord. I hope so. Hope that he gets what he deserves, which is a good thing in this context, shout. Judy Caster for 2 says, really good stream today. Thank you, sir. I'm wondering if you ever interacted with Terry Davis while he was alive. I did not. I didn't really know anything about Terry Davis until after he had died. Rickenbacker for 15 says, watch the first minute. Okay. The Birth of Tragedy, Nietzsche by Bianca J. Okay, so this black woman read Nietzsche and is going to try to explain it.
Lord of mercy. What's up? 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 What's up?
Bro, I'm supposed to believe that she sits down and reads like long form philosophical books with this fucking chirp in the background and it never bothers her enough to like turn it off? Good lord.
Hey, this is Book Talk. Thank you guys for coming yet again to talk about books with me, talk about literature with me. You know I love it. You guys are like my little virtual family, and with COVID-19, we all could use a little more community, a little more support. So if you enjoy books and you like talking about books or listening about books, go ahead and subscribe and join our community, and let's grow together and work through these things together. Without further ado, today's video is about the birth of tragedy. So these are the births of the plays that Shakespeare wrote. Just that tragic.
Shakespeare was much before Nietzsche, wasn't he? He's like isn't Nietzsche like a modern day? When was Nietzsche? Yeah, 1844, and Shakespeare's like the 1400s, right? 1564. I was close, chat. He was a Renaissance writer. I should know that. I think, anyways. I don't know. You know that Shakespeare invented the word eyeball? It's true, Chad. It's true. Okay, get her off my screen. Thank you. Oh, I fucking did it again. Anime sucks. Cope and Sneed for 5 says, I would literally learn the back end and turn the place profile. I just need to learn to teach me, Daddy Noel, teach me, Tetra fund me for the buyout. No. The line came from once says, paying taxes gay. True. Hamburger for 2 says, the Zoomers say no phantom tax, but the sector says tax free. Ohio Skibbity. I don't know what the fuck that means. Thank you. Patrick S. Tomlinson for 1 says, bring back Dear Elon segment at the end of the stream. Okay. I literally just spam them. Whenever I'm bored, I just open up the Twitter appeals now, and I just write fucking nonsense. Let's see. Appeal. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Okay, here we go. Okay, 4 seasons. There we go. Okay. I'm getting this set up. Okay. Should I write? Okay. And that will be the one. I have a good feeling about that one. that one's gonna make it. Thank you. Octavia sales rep for 10 says the IRS will open DFAG, Department of Federal Anthropomorphic Gooning. I think they already got that. It's a department with a $150 billion a year budget. There's got to be some kind of animal gooning segment somewhere in there. Sneedo for 10 says, sorry, Gator. Then there is a Catbox file. Let's see what it is. Freebird chat. His finest moment. He never got higher than this. Look at those eyes. Those eyes see everything.
I'm on the way home, bitch! My arrival is fucking imminent! Let's fucking go!
When I'm back in the U.S., should I record myself going through the TSA checkpoint and screaming, my arrival is fucking imminent, in like the face of La Chica in the Atlanta airport? Is that what I should do? I have a feeling that's what I should do, chat. Casting Couch Crab for 5 says, Bossman Jack will wear the Silent Shoe medallion. Do not wish such evil on him. Coliadante for 15 says, Anime Sex Copen Sneed says, show the stream and review it, and it's a link to the 4chan auto board. Let's see. It's a fat purple dragon dying of lung failure. Thank you, Anime Sucks Copen Sneed. When you do these and I show them on stream, it doesn't really work as well as it did in the past. Holy Hal for 5 says, hope you were having a good day, Josh. You reminded me, but always have some more of my truck bucks. I drove through the nice mountains today. Oh, that's very nice. Is it the Rockies or the ones on the east? Whatever. Are those all the Appalachians? All the ones on the east? I assume that the ones in Colorado are prettier, though. Thank you. Holy Cold Cowl for 1 says, Josh, if I get an interview on Fox News, let's say Jesse Waters, on getting the neck footage, would you consider? You would have to do a video call. No. Holy Hell for 2 says, also, I've noticed people have been asking you to collab with David Steck as of late, which is funny because I've been listening to him a lot since I started driving. His streams are great stuff. Yeah, I've heard mixed feedback on his streams. A lot of people seem to think that it's just like, someone wrote me an email saying that he like treads the same ground a lot, and it's just like very negative in general. He needs to stop being a negative Nancy. I know it's his brand to be a negative Nancy, but nobody likes negative Nancy. People like positive Pollies. Coliadante for 10 says, no, Judge Child, hearsay is not admissible in custody cases. That is not a meritorious overruling. Enjoy my appeal, Stalker. Very well written. I nailed it, too. Holy Hell for 2 says, Devin Stack. Sorry, I didn't even notice that you spelled it wrong the first time, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Haramburger for 2 says, nothing. Apropos of. Sneed Cricket for 1 says, as an American, I hope the West gets nuked at some point. Same. Sneed Cricket for 10 says, just one of the few things good Islam ever did. Okay. This is Oh, it's the clip that says, tie me to a missile and fire it at Tel Aviv. I'm ready. From Imam Hussein Abu Ayada Rafa Friday sermon, tie me to a missile and fire me at Tel Aviv. Fun fact, Memory TV was launched by the United States and Israel. It's like the something research institute, the Middle Eastern Research Institute. And it was like a joint venture of like Israel and the United States after 9/11. It's all propaganda. It's all propaganda. They find retard Arabs and then they translate it and then they pump it into the West so you hate the Middle East more so that you can go to forever wars for Israel. True facts. Rickenbacker for 2 says, also here's a real based Bible verse, Ephesians 6:12. Okay. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. I like that. It's from the New Testament too, isn't it? Ephesians is New Testament. That's nice. I like that. Thank you. Gormless Wonder for 1 says, Halal, Redoran, or Telvani. I don't know what the fuck that means. Morrowind. I never played Morrowind. Sorry, that's the only I never played the first 2 the Elder Scrolls before Oblivion. That was my first one. I've still not played Morrowind. Sorry, Charlie. Devious to V for 1 says sup. Nothing much, Devious to V. How you doing? Vordier for 5 says, tell me the most neighborlicious thing you've ever coded. Tell me the most divine intellect thing you've ever coded. Oh, God. The whole streaming setup that I have, this is pretty fucking neighbor-rigged, for sure. This is pretty bad. The most intellectual thing I've ever coded, my breathing simulator with, like, its atmospheric calculations. And, like, it's literally calculated pressure based off temperature. That was pretty cool. I wish I could go back to that and keep working on that. It was basically like a little physics simulator with gases and stuff. I wish I could have made that into a space station game. That would have been cool. Kurt Eichenwald, Anime Ambassador for 5 says, Glorious Kiwi Emperor, woeful little eye as small as my malformed chode. Josh does not abide. It didn't work. Is this your death poem? I accept your death poem. You may now commit seppuku. Schneidberg, Stein Goldman for $50 says, I love Israel. What a base comment. Thank you very much. I agree wholly and completely. Nice stream. Watch out for those wigglers. And there's this YouTube link.
Ow! Look out, it's the Wiggler! Watch out for the Wiggler!
John.
Bam, 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 burn out, bam!
Oh, look at that beak. Damn. I have never watched Delocated, so I have no context for what this is. Thank you. Chloe Dante for 10 says, I tried to join a high RP SS13 server once. It got warned for turning on the reactor. The admins had a huge battery system to ensure the station never actually needed the reactor. Never again. I guess so that they, because I guess the reactor can disrupt the RP if it has an issue. That's crazy. Yeah, what a shit server. All engineering does is turn on the fucking reactor at the start of the game, and then it works for the rest of the game without issue. That's stupid. Ghost of Chef Red Pill for 5 says, did the lady on the forum claiming to be the Q Club shooter mother ever send her your identity documents for verification? Was actually her. It appears to be. I'm not following that too much. I don't know what the fuck she wants. Bot or not for 10 says, Josh, we need to sacrifice another cow. Corn and bean prices are in the dirt. Harvest has been a nightmare because it never stops raining. I just want to bail. I guess you can't collect hay when it's wet, right? So if it like showers intermittently, it fucks with you. Who can we? I mean, Ricada. It's his term. We'll get him. Don't worry. Logistical Nightmare for 5 says, chirp. Thank you. Tetrax for 20 says, chirp. Thank you. All these empty messages with no words whatsoever. Thank you. Chloe Dante for 5 says, the smoke detector battery is dead. The smoke detector battery remains dead, and we have killed it. How shall we comfort ourselves, the 13 who do 50? Freddie Nabesham. That's stupid as fuck. Ghost of Chef Red Pill for once says, I misspoke in my previous super chat. I meant Club Q, not Q Club. The user was claiming to be Laura Vopal and said that her son was a forum user and asked for her to post on the site from prison. Yeah, I heard, bro, but I've not looked into it. Sneedo for once says, the Sneedening. Thank you. Appreciate it. Haramber for 2 says, if you must scream my arrival is imminent, do it at Bucky's. Ooh, that's a based idea. I like that. I want to try that Sloppy Joe's. They have like pulled pork sandwiches. Hungry just thinking about it. Humble Guardsman for one says, it's pronounced Appalachian retard. It's spelled Appalachian. I don't know why the fuck you are so upset about this. Haxley for what state? What state pronounces it Appalachian? Because I need to know if I care about that state. Haxley for 2 says, I missed the entire stream. Start again from the beginning, please. Okay, so first of all, Susan Wojcicki is fucking dead, and that's awesome. I was very happy to hear that she had died, chat. Fucking dead. She's not coming back. We're safe from her, chat. And finally, Dr. Coffin Nails for one says, I sent a $10 rant several hours before the stream started. Can you not see it? I cannot. I'm sorry. The way that Rumble works is that if I open the chat and I only see messages like in recent history. I've tried to yell at them to get them to fix this, and they never do. And even on my dashboard that shows me like the most recent messages, it shows me messages from like June 28th, like my earliest super chats. Like it's sorted in ascending order. So my latest messages are like dozens of pages deep on this fucking dashboard widget. It's just like, I don't know how they keep fucking up, bro. they just hire someone who knows what they're doing. Talk to the people who use the fucking application to figure out where it's failing. Okay, God, stop sending super chats. Third World Aristocrat for one says, question mark. Motherfucker, don't you know what you did? You know what you did, you motherfucker. Willie Wagner for 5 says, Richard Spencer leak, and this is the last one for real. Let's see what this fucking retard's saying now. Richard's son is no longer relevant, and there's an Asian woman.
2016年なんですけれども、後に首席戦略家になったバノン氏がですね、トランプ現象というのを作りまして、政権の生みの親とも言われました。で、この頃にはですね、オルトライト、もう一つの右翼、これをこう言われる白人至上主義の極右勢力というのも台頭していたんですね。そして今回の大統領選なんですけれども、アメリカに君主制が必要と主張するこの思想家のとも言われました。で、この頃にはですね、もう一つの白人
Where's the part where he says Richard Spencer is no longer relevant? Mr. Yavin? Curtis Yavin? That must be Curtis Yavin. I don't know what he looks like. Does Curtis Yavin speak to J.D. Vance? Dude, this guy's a weirdo. I don't like what I hear about him. No, you can't even see the thing. Sorry. I've been listening to Japanese shit and you can't even see it. Dude, this translation is horrible. Putin? Oh no. Dude, Japanese people must think we're fucking insane, and they're fucking insane, so that's a bad sign. Alright, cool, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and as I promised, I have a special song specifically picked out to honor the memory of Susan Wojcicki. I'll see you guys when I see you. Take it easy. Bye-bye.